UPI reports the Transportation Security Administration and the largest air carrier in the United States announced a joint initiative Tuesday that will test new automated passenger screening lanes at certain U.S. airports beginning this fall. The plan by the TSA and American Airlines will test new screening technology, including automated security screening lanes and what's known as commuted tomography scanners, CT, to inspect carry-on luggage. CT scanning is already used to evaluate checked luggage. Officials said the new technology should replace wait times at security checkpoints by about 30%. TSA Administrator Peter Neffinger said in a statement Tuesday, "Our foremost priority is the security of the traveling public. The new procedures will be tested beginning this fall at various American hubs across the United States, including Dallas-Fort Worth, Los Angeles, and Miami, and the CT carry-on screening will be tested at Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix." The news from the TSA comes amid a busy summer travel season, which has seen long security lines at some of the nation's busiest airports, like Chicago's O'Hare. The automated lanes will feature technology that screens luggage in X-ray machines, more efficiently isolates suspicious bags for further inspection, uses larger property bins, utilizes RFID tags in bins, and takes additional images of baggage exterior for comparison to X-ray images. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports the FBI recommended on Tuesday that no criminal charges be filed over Hillary Clinton's use of private email servers while she was Secretary of State, but rebuked the Democratic U.S. presidential candidate for extremely careless handling of classified information. While FBI Director James Comey's announcement lifted a cloud of uncertainty that had loomed over Clinton's White House campaign, Comey's comments are likely to reinforce what polls show are widespread public concerns about Clinton's honesty and trustworthiness. Republicans have pointed to the controversy as evidence that she has considered herself above the law. In a lengthy statement on the FBI's conclusions from its year-long investigation, Comey directly contradicted statements Clinton made while defending her use of the private email setup. He said, for example, that the FBI found at least 110 emails that contained classified information when they were sent, although Clinton has repeatedly said she never sent or received classified information on her private email server. Comey said the FBI concluded no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges. His recommendation will likely stand. The country's top prosecutor, U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, said on Friday she would accept the recommendations of career prosecutors and the FBI director on whether to charge Clinton for mishandling emails. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, mothers across the nation invented a new drug to worry about, confirming that the completely fictitious new substance was appearing in schoolyards across the nation and is easily created from simple household products like sugar, window cleaner, and petroleum jelly. Calling the totally made-up narcotic scramp, mothers in desperate need of something to fret over deluded themselves into constantly agonizing over the widespread drug epidemic that exists solely in their minds.
My son sits in his room for hours and hours. It must be scramp. He's a scramp head. I bet they'll figure out how to scramp with this, too.
In other news, a man confidently strides through a beaded curtain without parting it. A father takes a picture of his daughter every day from birth until he abandons his family. And the same homeless man is always begging for change on the same United flight. Stalled contract negotiations have prevented me from reviewing any more news until I receive a co-producer credit. But for more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. Take control of the airwaves. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, Skype username LRN.FM. We're actually starting with a special guest here tonight. Mark, would you like to introduce Matt?
Sure. This is Matt McKibbin. He is one of the organizers of the D10E event that we will be going to very shortly out in San Francisco. Matt, you there?
Matt, welcome.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks for having me on, guys.
So tell us first, D10E, what does that mean?
D10E. So D10E is a numeronym for decentralize. There's a kind of a shorthand that's been going on, and we decided to use it. Okay. So internationalization would be I-18N. So decentralize is D10E.
I just don't understand where it came from, but then again, I suppose I'm just not hip enough.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, it does. So tell us about the event. This isn't just some Bitcoin event.
No, it's not. D10E brings together a lot of different concepts that are helping to reform and shape the economy here in the future. We're going to be in San Francisco at the Marriott Marquis, July 19th and 20th. Our four main pillars that we really are discussing in this concept. One, which I think your viewers will be very familiar with, is the Bitcoin blockchain kind of concepts where you're able to decentralize money and governance and hopefully some other things, real estate, different things like that. The second main pillar that we felt really wasn't gaining a lot of support, no one was making them feel special, was the sharing economy. I mean, we have Uber, we have Airbnb, we have a multitude of different companies that allow you to share resources with other people that wouldn't normally be used, and then you get paid for that, right?
Yeah, it's changing our world.
Exactly, it's disrupting and disintermediating a lot of central powers and hotel chains and all of that. The third main pillar is the future of work, and so mainly with the future of work, we looked at the gig economy, we looked at holacratic or bottom-up organizations, and we said teal organizations. And these are a new way of managing how we do work. There's different organizations. You don't actually have to go to an office half the time. You're able to work from anywhere and do your specific job, your specific role. And so work for the average person is changing tremendously. And we wanted to grasp that. And finally, the fourth pillar might be a little bit of a catch-all, is called disruptive tech and culture. So we can do anything from drones to 3D printing, which is decentralizing manufacturing, to private space flight. We're actually, one of my favorite things for the disrupting of culture that I really want to mention is that we're going to have Dr. Wolfson there from the organization called MAPS. And he's leading the research that goes over MDMA-assisted psychotherapy to cure PTSD.
We've talked about that here.
Awesome. I mean, I'm sure your viewers are very well attuned to what's going on in the world, but not a lot of people know about what this is, and it's going to be very disruptive to mental health and to the psychiatry profession.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen situations, studies where they show that one dose of MDMA can change people's lives. It can cure PTSD
in a therapeutic setting. I mean, we're not talking about just popping a pill someplace. That's fascinating to me.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really interested. We were almost going to have a couple other people on stage that were talking about microdosing with LSD and different ways of kind of improving and biohacking, but that didn't end up working out. But it's still, nonetheless, it will be. I think it will be a little bit of a change at the end of compared to all the tech stuff. It'll be disrupting mental health.
Cool. All right. So was that all the pillars?
Yeah, there's number 4.
That is the 4 pillars. Okay. And so I guess we can kind of talk a little bit about the event. You guys are going to be there. You're going to do a live broadcast, interview a lot of the speakers. So in the morning on the 19th, we're going to have a networking event where we have all the speakers, we have all the sponsors, we have all the participants that want to come. There's usually at least 2 to 3 drink tickets, probably a couple if you come hang out with me a little bit more. And then everyone gets to know each other a little bit. We've got a little bit of liquid courage. And then the next day, once you've kind of met some of the people, you're more likely to have a really cool interaction with them as the conference is going on. So John McAfee is the morning featured speaker, and he's going to discuss privacy and decentralization with Paul Pewey of Airbits.
Yep. And McAfee's a great speaker for anybody who hasn't seen him in real life. Darryl, you got to see him at the Libertarian Convention.
Yeah, I've actually met him at several conventions and got to hang out with him a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be like all over the place. Everyone will get to meet him. He's huge. He was running for Libertarian president on the Vote Different initiative. I'm really pumped to meet him. I've actually never met him before. I talked on the phone once, but
and the other speakers?
Yeah, and so the other keynote is Andreas Antonopoulos. I mean, what better speaker could we have on decentralization?
We've had Andreas on the show a few times, and he's just a really great communicator to get the ideas of Bitcoin and decentralization across to an average audience, which is mostly who our listeners are. A lot of our listeners may not be really intimately familiar with some of these technologies. So we're going to hope to make them as understandable as possible.
Should be a very educational show.
Because some of it's new to me as well. So I'm looking forward to the event. Now, it says...
I'm looking at the website right now, and I just want to mention a couple of the other people that are listed here as presenters.
Yep.
Jason King from Unsung, but he's also affiliated with the Bitcoin-run homeless shelter down in Pensacola, or just outside of Pensacola. A couple people that I've never heard of. Tatiana Moroz, the musician, is going to be there. So it should be a very good event.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, it says here, one of the things I've been confused about, maybe you can clear this up, Matt, is it says it's the first event of its kind, but then there's apparently also been past events. So is this the first D10E or not?
This is the second D10E. There was another conference last year called Coin Congress, which was organized by some of the same people, but it ended up not being successful. And we reformed, rebranded. It's not the same organization. And we had one previous event in Amsterdam in February, which we had no network in Amsterdam. We decided to put this on there. Our partner conference called Casual Connect, which is one of the largest casual gaming conferences in the world.
What's a casual game?
Casual game. You know what? I've never actually done any casual gaming. If I was going to game, I would be doing something serious.
I'm pretty sure I'm not a serious gamer. The rest
of mine are casual.
So
the games
I just don't know what this means. On your phone, the little regress or whatever it is, that's a casual game.
Okay.
Yeah, just if you can go to usa.casualconnect.org. So they have inspiration. They have speakers. They have Google, Amazon, a lot of these different huge companies that are talking about it. I guess Blizzard is there. Google, as I mentioned, Facebook. So maybe casual is just the name, but there's a huge event, thousands of people, and they go all over the world. And so we partner with them, and we get a little bit of their space, and we get to run this decentralized tech conference there.
It's awesome.
Cool.
I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a really great event, and there's going to be lots of great interviews that we're going to have, and you'll be able to bring it to the listenership at large.
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing I wanted to really mention, I guess, the conference is going to be one of the first ever that's going to be virtual reality live streamed.
What does that mean?
So we're going to be able to have – is that the music?
Hold that thought. Matt McKibbin is with us here from D10E. Website D10E.org, D10E.org. You can go and get your tickets for the event that is coming up July 19th and 20th in San Francisco at the Marriott Marquis. We're going to continue with more with Matt. Your calls and thoughts also welcome, and we'll talk about Chelsea Manning, parent suicide attempt, and how that relates to Hillary Clinton here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
People who can afford a LASIK procedure sure are lucky. Imagine being able to throw away your contacts and glasses. Imagine waking up tomorrow with 20/20 vision. Too bad everyone can't afford LASIK. Well, guess what? There's a company that agrees with you. TLC Laser Eye Centers is now offering great prices on high-quality LASIK to make it affordable for everyone. That means you get the latest FDA-approved all-laser LASIK technology for less than what others charge. And if you call right now, we'll schedule a free appointment so you can discover if LASIK is right for you. Results may vary. Call 1-800-930-9765. Even better, if you're one of the first 100 callers, ask about an extra $400 off your all-laser LASIK procedure. That's $200 off per eye. We've already performed over 2 million procedures. Let us help you. Discover how you can get the quality LASIK experience you deserve for less than what others charge. For your free appointment, call 1-800-930-9765. 1-800-930-9765.
Guys, are you tired of being tired? Frustrated because it seems impossible to lose belly fat? If you're looking for a solution, then listen to Mark.
I had fantastic results with the Andro 400 Max. Probably lost 35 pounds, and more impressive than that was the inches I lost off of my belly and my waist. And the increased energy is fantastic. I'll be totally honest, I tried a different product, and I wasn't happy with the different product. You guys are considerably cheaper than the other brand, and I can really feel the difference.
Andro 400 Max, the extra strength, all-natural testosterone booster. The safe, easy, and affordable way to gain energy and lose stubborn belly fat. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. Feel and look like a new man. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Free Talk Live.
I wanted to ask your listeners about the religion and the people who practice Wicca. What do they think their agenda is? Is it to take over the world? Or?
Oh, no. No, I don't think so.
I mean, because they're somewhat of bullies.
They're bullies? What do you mean?
They bully with the religion themselves. A lot of people are afraid of them.
Can you give me an example?
The Tea Party.
The Tea Party has to do with Wicca?
Well, it's mostly because they're so secretive.
So
the Wiccans.
The Wiccans are secretive, and they have a lot of numbers, and they've infiltrated the Tea Party?
Well, they use them, like, for instance, the breakdown of Obamacare. That could very well have been the Wiccans using their power to break down the computers.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Join us right here. You can bring up what you want. Coming up, Chelsea Manning, a parent attempted suicide in federal prison. We'll share that with you here in moments. And whatever the latest is on this Hillary Clinton debacle, 855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number. That's 855-450-3733. Or Skype in at username LRN.FM. Though right now on Skype, we do have Matt McKibbin on with us from D10E, the conference that it's not its first ever, but there's, I guess, something different about this D10E than the one that had happened previously. You can learn more about it over at d10e.org. And one of the things that was different that, Matt, you were just about to tell us about is a VR, a virtual reality component to this particular D10E, the Decentralization Conference happening in San Francisco coming up July 19th and 20th. So coming up fast, still not too late to get your tickets. D10e.org is where you can go to learn more. But, Matt, what is this virtual reality component?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of the first ever virtual reality live streamed conferences. And so if you go on to the website Timetex, TIMETECS.com, you can learn more about the technology. but basically they're going to have a 360 virtual reality cameras in all directions there. They're going to move around the conference as they need to. So it'll be if you look at it, it'll look like you're there, especially if you have a VR device. What they're also doing, which is really interesting to me, is that they're doing some blockchain development to do smart contracts and be able to pay for these types of services with direct peer-to-peer like cryptocurrencies. So go on the website and check it out. It's if you host a conference or anything like that, it might be something you want to do.
Now, is it something that you would have to, if you you can't make it to San Francisco, you can't make it to D10E, but you still want to experience it? Is it something you have to pay for on the outside, or will it be streamed live to anyone who wants to watch?
So this one's going to be free.
Okay.
We're doing the first ever. We're pioneering this technology for Time Tech. But to meet all the people and to really get the experience, you're going to want to be there.
Obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be the same. You're going to
conferences aren't the same value for someone who's just watching online. I mean, when I hosted Keenvention, we put all the videos up, but it's not the same because you don't, like you said, you don't get to meet the people, you don't get the networking benefit, and all the fun of actually being at the event. But it does give you a little taste for, at the very least, the information that the presentations are being relayed.
Plus, there's a time investment aspect when you take the time to go to the event. You're going to sit in on these things. You sit in farther and thus learn more. The more you sit in, the more you're going to learn. And so, if you just happen to be, I'm going to do this online, you're less likely to watch as much and less likely to learn and experience as much.
Absolutely, yeah. And so one of the main wonderful things that I love about D10E when we had in Amsterdam is, we don't separate really the speakers from the audience. You're integrated. You're meeting these people. You're all passionate about similar things. And so you can make long-lasting connections, but there's not a green room that all the speakers sit in prior to the event. They're in the audience with you. You're going to meet them. And after their speech, after their talk or their panel discussion, you're going to get to go talk to them about what happened, or you're going to be able to talk to them about at the networking event. So it's very intimate. You create memories, and it's not them selling a product to you. It's them discussing a really important, meaningful topic to them, and almost telling a story about it in order to get the point across.
Cool. So one could go to d10e.org. You can grab, it looks like student tickets are as low as $89 to this. Typical, let's see, early bird, that's over. What's the current ticket price on this?
Right now, we just went up July 1st at $350, but I believe we've created a discount code for the Free Talk Live audience. So if you use FTL, you'll get a 10% discount code when you go on. So you get $35 off. It's not bad.
And I notice one sort of glaring thing here. This is a decentralized conference, it's a conference about decentralization, about Bitcoin, but I'm not seeing Bitcoin as a payment option.
You're right, and womp womp. So there was something we were working on. Eventbrite, unfortunately, in their centralized systems, doesn't take Bitcoin, and we did have a solution at one point, but it's not up and running currently. I do apologize for that, but with PayPal just now taking Bitcoin, and you can
it won't be long.
You should be able to switch some of your Bitcoins out and pay in PayPal on Eventbrite. If you're really interested in the conference, that won't stop you.
And I did see that Coinbase now allows you to sell some of your Bitcoin to your PayPal.
Yeah, exactly. And Eventbrite exclusively takes PayPal. So sorry about that, listeners, but we're bootstrapping, and it didn't happen.
Cool, though. It's still going to be, I think it's going to be a great conference. I'm looking forward to it. And was there anything else that you felt like we needed to cover that we didn't?
No. Well, so just, I guess, the morning part is individual speakers. And then the afternoon is the panel discussions, which you get a little bit more time to hear what the people have to say. I guess that was really one of the main parts with that we didn't discuss.
Cool. Looking forward to it. Matt, thanks for coming here on
It's going to be a great event.
Yeah, thank you so much. I can't wait to for you guys to be there and broadcast to listeners. This is the perfect fusion of libertarianism and the technology that disintermediates the state. It's amazing.
It's absolutely true, and that's one of the reasons I'm really excited about this conference. And I recommend, please, everyone who's come on out and hang out at this event with us. It's d10e.org.
Thanks, Matt. Have a great night.
All right, take it easy.
Appreciate
you
it.
Too.
Toll-free number tonight for you, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. There's not good news coming out of the military prison in Kansas where Chelsea Manning, you may have known her as Bradley Manning, the heroic member of the U.S. military who released all manner of secret information, including videos of military people shooting innocent people from helicopters, if I'm recalling correctly.
Oh, you're recalling correctly.
Yeah, among other shocking, outrageous news. And
things that if they were done by any government other than the United States government would be classified by the United States government as war crimes.
Yeah, and so for her efforts in transparency for what the government is actually doing, she was rewarded with a 35-year prison sentence there in the military facility. So we're going to give you an update on...
Well, she's not running for president.
Huh?
She's not running for president. She's not going to get some kind of pass for, making military secrets, accessible by public at large if she's not running for president.
Right. So toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I guess you're referring to Hillary Clinton, who recently had the FBI say that despite the fact that she's been a naughty girl,
did all manner of illegal things,
that she won't be charged.
Quote, unquote, no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges.
A U.S. media report said that Manning, who's being held in a cell at the U.S. military disciplinary barracks in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, was taken to a hospital early Tuesday morning. CNN said it was believed the 28-year-old had tried to kill herself. 855-450-3733. You may take control of the airwaves here. You can also join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
We all have heard about the benefits of fish oils, but what about the presence of heavy metals, PCBs, dioxins, furans, and other contaminants found in fatty tissues of fish? GCNteam.com recognizes this risk and offers IFOS certified tested omega-3 fatty acids. EPA, DHA insist on IFOS omega-3 fatty acid certification. Get the best at GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you to go this way? You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey.
Who do you think you are?
Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty and peace around the globe worth 15 cents per day to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as sub-Saharan Africa. Last year, we did a fundraiser that successfully covered the costs of continuing our African channel. This year, we're hoping to raise enough to fund a new satellite signal that will cover Europe, North Africa, and much of the Middle East. You can donate as much or as little as you like via the Indiegogo campaign at fund.lrn.fm. And there are perks available like sitting in on your favorite LRN.FM show, exclusive shiny badges, or even naming a satellite channel. Please contribute now at fund.lrn.fm and help us continue our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. The fundraiser ends August 19th, so please visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. How long would Hillary Clinton last in prison before she tried to kill herself? Because it's not that uncommon for people who are sentenced to a long time in prison to attempt suicide. Chelsea Manning apparently just attempted it yesterday.
How long would Hillary be in prison before whomever was president decided to issue her a pardon?
Great question. Well, so far, it doesn't look like she's going to be facing any kind of jail time because the FBI is not charging her with anything.
Well, technically, the FBI would not be the ones to bring forth the charges. It would be the Department of Justice.
Oh, really? Okay.
But the FBI has recommended to the DOJ not to bring charges.
Let's go to the phones. You can bring up anything you want. Also, Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, go to freedomsphoenix.com. They've got it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Freedom's with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. We go to Tom, and I believe he's in California via Skype. Hello, Tom.
This is Tom in Jefferson.
Ah, excellent. Jefferson. Now, for the listeners that don't know, you've called before, but I feel like you called on the phone lines previously. Were you the guy who was updating us on the whole state of Jefferson situation there?
Yes, I'm the guy. I'm actually using a headset, so I probably sound a lot better this time.
Yeah, you sound great. So for our listeners who are new, what is the state of Jefferson?
The state of Jefferson is a movement to separate the state of California. We have 21 counties on board right now that want to separate. It's a constitutional process. Simply requires a majority vote of the state legislature and Congress.
Now, just to be clear, you don't want to separate California from the United States. You want to separate North California from California, right?
You got it. Yes.
Now, there is a California secession movement as well. Isn't there, like some sort of California independence?
That is called Yes California.
Mm-hmm.
And we want nothing to do with that in any shape, way, or kind.
Tell me what the difference is.
The difference is, first off, if we separated to an independent nation, we would have no constitution. We would have, none of the benefits of the United States. The people behind it are George Soros and some of Governor Brown's cronies. And it looks to me like that is a plan to deal with the potential bankruptcy of California.
All right, so I've just got a question real quick. You said if California became an independent country, they would not have a constitution?
They would not have the benefit of the United States Constitution.
Ah, okay. Because I was going to say, why would they not have a constitution? That just seems like something that would be kind of odd.
Right, they have a constitution now.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's the idea
well,
that
technically, the United Kingdom has no written constitution, and I believe it's 3 of the top 10 freest countries in the world do not have a written constitution.
What's freest? What number?
Based on the Fraser Institute's.
I understand, but where does it fit? How many countries are we talking about? The freest third, the freest quintile,
the
freest
out of
10?
the top 10.
Okay, freest
3
10.
of them.
Okay.
Have no written constitution.
I know it's England and New Zealand are 2.
All right, so I guess what I want to know is what's the benefit of the United States? I mean, we want to get out of the United States here in some of us do in New Hampshire.
Well, the problem is the people that are behind the separation of the California, the Yes California people, and I don't have all the names and information up in front of me, but one of them is a Japanese fellow that goes all the way back to World War II. He was friends with Mussolini. And he and Pat Brown purchased oil fields in Indonesia. And when Jerry Brown became governor of California, one of his first things he did was say that we can't refine the high sulfur oil. We had to only refine low sulfur oil. And guess where the only place where low sulfur oil was that came from? Indonesia.
What a surprise.
This was surprise, surprise. So this is a bunch of corrupt cronies, in essence, trying to make Brown Emperor Brown for life.
Interesting. So you guys want to break away from California and become a 51st state? Is that the idea, state of Jefferson?
Absolutely.
Now,
yes.
Didn't Jefferson also include a portion of Oregon as well?
The original movement was in 1941. The original one named Jefferson. There's been about 100 attempts to separate California. The original one from 1941 included the southern counties of Oregon. We are now starting to see committees forming in southern Oregon. But in order to keep the process clean, the Constitution doesn't outline how 2 states would split and form 1 state, and it gets messy.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how they'd pull it off. It would be significantly easier, as though it's not a Herculean task already, to split off some counties from one state into another state. But to get a third state's counties to split off and join your state, that sounds like their problem.
Well, it does seem as though, and maybe I'm just thinking way too optimistically in the future, optimistically to some. So if the state of Jefferson, with only the California counties, was able to get statehood as the state of Jefferson, then in theory, could not some of the counties from Oregon then secede from Oregon and join the new state?
That's what we'd like to see happen.
Gotcha. But step 1, secede from California. So what's the latest on the state of Jefferson secession plan? What are you guys up to right now?
Well, the latest right now on July 23rd, we are having a meeting in Live Oak at the Church of Glad Tidings from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And this is the formation meeting. This is open to the public, and we are going to be actually forming committees and deciding exactly how we're going to form the new state. The thought is that we're going to have, shall we call it a territorial government, shadow government, that will actually form and start to become effective and be able to give the official position and official word of the state of Jefferson.
Sounds like a big deal. So how many people are you expecting to show up at this thing?
We have over 200 registered so far.
Wow.
Yes.
Right on.
Yes. And while that's been going on, I've been doing a little bit of investigating myself. And this D10E conference, I'm actually thinking about going to that.
All right, cool.
I'd love to have you there.
Yeah, we're located here I'm about 2 hours north of San Francisco. So
perfect. That's an easy drive.
It's a doable trip, and I'm actually discussing amongst some of the other, shall we say, technocrats within the Jefferson movement. We're discussing Ethereal.
Ethereal?
Are you familiar with the
Ethereum?
Yeah, the Ethereum says
it's amazing stuff.
Platform. Yes, it is amazing stuff. So we're in the process of looking at how you would actually run a new state with that and implement contracts and how far you could take it. And so I'm really excited about doing that.
Yeah, I think D10E would probably be the right conference for you to attend then, because didn't I see someone from Ether is going to be attending? Maybe it was Dash. I saw Dash, which is another one of those cryptocurrencies out there. But either way, these guys at this conference definitely know their stuff. And let's see. Yep. No, I don't see anyone from Ethereum. But nonetheless, it's going to be a good group, and we'll look forward to seeing you there. Tom, keep us in the loop as things continue to develop there in the hopefully soon-to-be freer state of Jefferson. Thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing you, hopefully. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's go to David. He's on the line in Keene, New Hampshire. Hello, David. Do we have David? David going once? David going twice? We're going to put David back on hold. Our toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Ralph in New Jersey. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Ralph.
Let me, without much further ado, let me get straight to my point, and that's the issue of race I want to talk about. Because, the first caller from California, yes, indeed. Calling me a racist, you get what's coming to you now, okay?
So what are you going to admit that you are a racist? We'll find out here in moments. More with Ralph. He'll shout.
Well, I never said he was a racist.
He just wants to talk about it a lot.
Had this weird not surprised face on my surprised look on my face.
If it looks like a racist, it smells like a racist, it feels like a racist, it might just be a racist. We'll find out what Ralph has to say here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
I'm Ian Freeman, host of Free Talk Live. We've been covering Uber for years on the radio with their ongoing legal cases across the globe defending your right to give people rides without asking government permission. I wanted to support Uber more directly, so I signed up to be a driver. It's fun to meet new people and help Uber push forward innovation. As of this recording, Uber is active in 67 countries, so there's a good chance they're available in your area. If you'd like to drive for Uber and make some money helping people get where they want to go, sign up at drive.freetalklive.com, and you'll get a $100 bonus after you complete a certain number of trips. With Uber, you can drive anytime you want. You set your schedule. To get started, you need a good driving record, 4-door vehicle, insurance, registration, and to pass a background check. It costs nothing to sign up, so visit drive.freetalklive.com. That's drive.freetalklive.com. And if you just want to try Uber as a rider, visit ride.freetalklive.com. Your first ride's free.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is lrn.fm. We'll take your calls about anything that's on your mind, and still to come here, more on Hillary Clinton. Chelsea Manning has attempted suicide in prison, but doesn't look like Hillary Clinton's going to be heading towards prison anytime soon. Darryl's got some of the latest on that situation, but we're going to go back to Ralph in New Jersey, who said he was calling in about race, because he says he's... Are you going to admit to being a racist tonight, Ralph, or are you going to try to pretend like you're not?
No, that's according to you, okay?
That's right.
You. I know where you're coming from. You're coming from the white guilty point.
No. You're the one who gets on the air and starts calling black people animals, sir.
Because if they allow me some rationale and justification to call them that, I definitely will. I will tell you that right now. I definitely will. Okay, it's based on the person's action, not his race or color.
Okay.
That I will describe them as being that. Okay. That being said, you got an affirmative action case before the Supreme Court very recently. Where they handed down a decision, 5-3, I believe, was the decision, to uphold in this country right now, reverse racism, number 1, racial quota, number 2, in which way
racial
you
quotas.
Look at it.
Okay.
That's right.
For universities, right?
You look at...
For universities. For universities.
The Abigail Fisher University of Texas
Yep.
case, correct. In which way you look at it, it's about the issue of race, bigotry, and racism. Can anybody tells me the difference between that upholding, racial quota, racial discrimination in the Supreme Court, and Obama, that damn animal Obama, playing the race card, race baiting, or his
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be telling you the difference between. I didn't understand the question.
No, I'm not finished, sir.
Okay,
I'm not finished.
all right.
And his action and policy of being anti-white, anti-Christ, and anti-Semite. And that's a fact. That's a fact.
And what's that have to do with college admittance policies?
Those things. Because right now in this country, we have Obama setting the tone, if I may say that, the tone that it's quite all right if, you discriminate certain group of people at the expense of others.
So what you're saying is, let me see if I'm following you here, because Darryl looks confused. Let me see if I can explain. What you're saying is a Supreme Court decision just came down that upholds
I'm aware of the Supreme Court case.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding him. The reason I state things back is so I can understand and make sure I'm getting it straight. So you're saying there was the Supreme Court case that upholds affirmative action in college admittance policies, and that's because of Barack Obama setting the tone with his...
Correct, right.
I'm confused about how Obama has set a tone of being anti-white, anti-Christ, and anti-Semite.
You would be confused, because Abigail Pacer, from all that I gather about the young lady, Abigail Pacer, is neither
the woman that brought the lawsuit against the University of Texas.
Abigail Pacer. From what I gathered about the young lady, I should say, is neither a white guilty or a white racist kind of individual. See, in this country right now, according to Obama, if you are born white, you are therefore ipso facto a racist. Can you believe
I haven't heard him say anything like that, but I suppose one might attempt to build a case around it.
Thanks for the call tonight, Ralph. Appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Does the Supreme Court follow along with what the president, presuming the president is setting the tone, he's suggesting? Is that
Obama had absolutely nothing to do with the University of Texas admittance policies. Obama had nothing to do with this woman suing the University of Texas. Obama had nothing to do with the court hearing the case. Obama was not there arguing for or against this woman. And I'm still trying to figure out how Obama is anti-white, anti-Christ, and anti-Semite.
Well, okay,
so he's half white, isn't he?
Of those, I don't agree with Ralph on necessarily anything. I think the man's obsessed with race.
He is. But he's at least obsessed with Obama.
I will say, if he's not talking about Obama, he's talking about Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And these are political movements. I get it, but he seems focused on people who are of color in the political sphere, if that makes any sense to you. So, leaving all that aside, a university, to my mind, should be able to, exclude or include anybody they want for whatever reason they want. The problem is when you give them public funding. So when tax dollars go to universities that then use rules that are racially exclusionary or inclusive or whatever, then that's when there's a problem. As far as I'm concerned, Bethune-Cookman College should be able to exclude any white people they want and include any black people they want to their college, if that's what they want to do. Or the, Florida A&M, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University should be able to have all black people if that's what they want to do. But it shouldn't be funded by government money. That's the problem. And I don't think any university should be. I don't think that some universities should and some shouldn't. They should all be private institutions that sell a product. That product should be education, and people should buy it because it's good.
Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Let's continue here. You can bring up whatever is on your mind. We've also got the latest on Hillary Clinton on the way here. We did hear recently that the FBI is not interested in seeing her charged for breaking the rules. We got David on the line in Keene. We're going to give him one more shot here. David, are you with us? All right, I guess he is not there. It sounds like an open line, but something's not working. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. The news about Chelsea Manning, by the way, apparently didn't even get to her attorneys before it got to the media. Her lawyer, Nancy Hollander, said in a statement that she was, quote, shocked and outraged, unquote, that an official at Fort Leavenworth Prison provided, quote, confidential medical information, unquote, about Manning to the media, but had not shared anything with her team. She said she had been due to speak with her client at 2 p.m. on Monday, but was told she could not be connected. She said, quote, despite the fact they've reached out to the media and that any other prison will connect an emergency call, the Army has told her lawyers that the earliest time they'll be able to accommodate a call between her lawyers and Chelsea is on Friday morning. We call on the Army to immediately connect Chelsea Manning to her lawyers and friends who deeply care about her well-being and are profoundly distressed by the complete lack of official communications about Chelsea's current situation. And even Edward Snowden tweeted about the situation as well. Yet another person who I've seen some pretty smart memes about with like Edward Snowden's picture and then some sort of shot at Hillary, because Edward Snowden is yet another whistleblower that the federal government would love to put in a prison cell for the rest of his life.
Yeah, I think that Snowden did it better than Private Manning, but I don't think that changes the fact that Manning appeared to want to make a statement and hold people responsible who had committed crimes. The only person who ended up in prison was Private Manning.
Well, before Private Manning gave anything to WikiLeaks, Private Manning went to Reuters, UPI, the Washington Post, went to the mainstream media, and they said, "Kick rocks, kid. We don't want it."
Yeah.
And so had Private Manning not been able to get stuff made public through WikiLeaks, I don't think the media would have even given Edward Snowden a shot. So had WikiLeaks even told Manning, "Kick rocks, we don't care," and Manning just, well, I guess I'll put it up on a blog or something, then, a couple years later, nobody even would have looked at Edward Snowden when Snowden went to the mainstream media and said, "Hey, I've got a bunch of stuff."
So you're saying Manning paved the way for Snowden to hit it big. Interesting. So that's pretty much the update there. There's really not much news about Chelsea's current situation. Her attorneys haven't even talked to her at this point, and so all we know is basically the rumor that she was checked into some hospital according to somebody at
and
that
maybe
prison.
it has something to do with suicide.
Odds are good.
Yeah. We don't know.
And there were also people that paved the way for Private Manning to be able to leak stuff the way Private Manning did.
Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. We'll talk about Hillary coming up here. Darryl, you've got the story.
Yes.
855-450-FREE allows you to join us. Bring whatever's on your mind. Big news for Uber in Argentina as well, coming up for the Bitcoin world. This is Free Talk Live, Hour 2 on the way.
DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com. Here's a good idea. When you have a legal matter like creating your will or legally setting up a business with a corporation or LLC, you don't necessarily need a law firm. Use LegalZoom.com. At LegalZoom.com, you answer straightforward questions online, and they take care of the rest. They even review your answers for common mistakes and guarantee your satisfaction. Free Talk Live listeners, you'll get 10% off your order by typing in FTL in the referral box at purchase. Don't procrastinate with these important legal documents. LegalZoom.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 6th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.09 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,370 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $676. Antiwar.com reports adding to a string of suicide attacks in both Iraq and Syria around the end of Ramadan. A motorcycle bomber hit a bakery in the northeastern Syrian city of Hasakah on Tuesday evening, killing at least 16 civilians in a Kurdish-dominated neighborhood. The bakery, like a lot of bakeries in the Muslim world, had a long line of customers looking to buy baked goods for Eid al-Fitr, a major celebratory feast that marks the end of Ramadan. In addition to killing 16 people, the bombings wounded at least 40 others. Reports out of the area suggest that among the wounded, some 15 remain gravely so, and that it is likely the final death toll will be a bit higher. Officials have not identified the attacker, who reportedly just drove up to the bakery's entrance and detonated. Hasaka is the de facto capital of the territory held by the Kurdish YPG and has regularly been targeted by the Islamic State throughout the war. Though they have yet to claim responsibility for the latest incident, they are responsible for materially all such attacks in the area. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Transportation Security Administration and the largest air carrier in the United States announced a joint initiative Tuesday that will test new automated passenger screening lanes at certain U.S. airports beginning this fall. The plan by the TSA and American Airlines will test new screening technology, including automated security screening lanes and what's known as commuted tomography scanners, CT, to inspect carry-on luggage. CT scanning is already used to evaluate checked luggage. Officials said the new technology should replace wait times at security checkpoints by about 30%. TSA Administrator Peter Neffinger said in a statement Tuesday, "Our foremost priority is the security of the traveling public. The new procedures will be tested beginning this fall at various American hubs across the United States, including Dallas-Fort Worth, Los Angeles, and Miami, and the CT carry-on screening will be tested at Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix." The news from the TSA comes amid a busy summer travel season, which has seen long security lines at some of the nation's busiest airports, like Chicago's O'Hare. The automated lanes will feature technology that screens luggage and x-ray machines, more efficiently isolates suspicious bags for further inspection, uses larger property bins, utilizes RFID tags in bins, and takes additional images of baggage exterior for comparison to x-ray images. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports the FBI recommended on Tuesday that no criminal charges be filed over Hillary Clinton's use of private email servers while she was Secretary of State, but rebuked the Democratic U.S. presidential candidate for extremely careless handling of classified information. While FBI Director James Comey's announcement lifted a cloud of uncertainty that had loomed over Clinton's White House campaign, Comey's comments are likely to reinforce what polls show are widespread public concerns about Clinton's honesty and trustworthiness. Republicans have pointed to the controversy as evidence that she has considered herself above the law. In a lengthy statement on the FBI's conclusions from its year-long investigation, Comey directly contradicted statements Clinton made while defending her use of the private email setup. He said, for example, that the FBI found at least 110 emails that contained classified information when they were sent, although Clinton has repeatedly said she never sent or received classified information on her private email server. Comey said the FBI concluded no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges. His recommendation will likely stand. The country's top prosecutor, U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, said on Friday she would accept the recommendations of career prosecutors and the FBI director on whether to charge Clinton for mishandling emails. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Jack Daniels announced today its plan to start marketing directly to children, adding, quote, "Why not?" Executives for the whiskey company told reporters that they've already slated dozens of television spots showing 10-year-old children drinking tumblers of Jack and Coke in playgrounds, and that the company was planning on, quote, "just seeing how it all played out."
Every year, Jack Daniels sells millions of dollars of great American whiskey to men and women all over the world. So, for our next ad campaign, we basically just thought, hey, why not just start marketing this stuff straight to 10-year-olds? I mean, if they catch us, they catch us, but we'll see how far it goes, and hopefully we can sell some alcohol along the way. Sure, some parents' groups could get upset, especially if we go with our idea of moms serving their kids cranberry Jack at snack time. But
In other news, a doomed rabbit will teach an 8-year-old a lesson about responsibility, and a torrent of soap issues from a wildly unexpected part of the dispenser. Well, that was it. It's all downhill from here, bud. For more, visit theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever's on your mind here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733, and we're kicking off the second hour of the program. Coming up, big news for Bitcoin and Uber in Argentina here in moments. But we're talking about the Hillary Clinton debacle. There was this thing with the email. She was running some sort of illegal email server or a private email server, but doing business with government business over it.
There was classified information running through a private, unsecured email server.
And I think it bears pointing out that there's lots of different types of classified, right? There's, your average run-of-the-mill on up to super top secret or whatever the terminologies are, but there's different aspects of this. And people will point that. One of the reasons I want to say that is people will point it out over and over again. The Hillary apologists will say, hey, you don't even know what classified is. So I'm not going to claim to know what classified is, but I am going to claim this. If you did it, your butt would be in jail.
Yes.
So what's the latest?
Well, did you guys go over James Comey's statement?
I don't know who that is.
He's the director of the FBI.
Okay.
He's the guy that said Hillary did a bunch of illegal things, but she didn't intend to do illegal things, so therefore don't charge her.
However, he did call her. The law says that you have to be grossly negligent. He did call her utterly careless or some term.
Well, I've skimmed through the fairly lengthy statement and pulled out what I would consider the highlights of the statement. Is it okay if I go through these? He says, although we did not find clear evidence that Secretary Clinton or her colleagues intended to violate the laws governing the handling of classified information, there is evidence that they were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive.
They're not grossly negligent, Ian. They're extremely careless. The law says grossly negligent.
Right. Extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information. So this is the head of the FBI saying it's highly classified.
He should go to prison.
None of these emails.
I'm sorry. Look. When the highest, when the highest FBI agent in the land refuses to charge somebody that he goes out and says is guilty,
well, Darryl says they can't charge.
Deserves prison.
He says they can't charge.
The FBI doesn't actually put the charges. They have the Department of Justice put the charges, but he's recommending that the Department of Justice not pursue charges.
They're a policing organization that doesn't arrest?
They can arrest, but they do not prosecute. The Department of Justice prosecutes.
Then arrest her.
Well, normally when the arrest happens, a charge is brought by a lower, if it's state cops or local cops, they bring a charge with the arrest. You generally can't arrest someone without some sort of charge. So you're saying FBI can arrest but not charge?
The FBI, when they came in here with a warrant, they could have arrested anybody if there was a charge.
Well,
if they told the Department of Justice, we want to charge this person,
well, then the
Department of Justice would say, okay. It's like if I jaywalk and the Keene police find, Darryl's got a warrant in South Carolina, then they can arrest me and then decide to drop whatever charge they were pursuing. That's the way policing works. They can arrest somebody and then, we're not continuing
they can drop the
with charges
later, sure. But so what you're saying is the FBI would have to have an indictment from a U.S. attorney in order to make an arrest on somebody, generally. But I'm sure that if the FBI were in here and someone attacked them, which wouldn't happen, but if that happened, they would likely have the authority to arrest that person.
Yes, because they're basically the federal level of police.
Right. So, and police charge people all the time, Darryl.
Right. I would
just because a prosecutor doesn't choose to pursue that charge doesn't mean that the police didn't charge anybody. I guess if we're going to have this distinction here,
I think you're right about
this,
that.
And I think because there might be something that I don't understand as far as why it's the Department of Justice that would have to issue this charge.
Well, they would have to
instead of the
pursue it.
director of the FBI, but the director of the FBI has told the Department of Justice, do not charge Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I think Darryl's probably right that the FBI generally does investigations, feeds information to the Department of Justice.
And then recommends that a charge... I know that's what's happening here.
And then
James Comey told Loretta Lynch, do not charge Hillary Clinton.
Gotcha.
But let me finish going through the highlights or lowlights of his statement. He says none of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system, but their presence is especially concerning because all of these emails were housed on unclassified personal servers, not even supported by full-time security staff like those found at the departments and agencies of the U.S. government, or even with a commercial service like Gmail. So Hillary's emails were going through something less secure than Gmail.
So an amateur system of some sort.
Yes.
Okay.
Although there is evidence of potential violations of the statutes regarding the handling of classified information, our judgment is that no reasonable prosecutor would bring such a charge. Probably because a reasonable prosecutor would realize that, there's been a lot of mysterious deaths involved with the Clintons. And if they wind up bringing forth charges, they might just, suspiciously kill themselves by stabbing themselves in the neck 39 times.
Now, you're referring to, some theories that go back for decades, right? Like back into when the Clintons, or when Bill Clinton was the Arkansas governor. There were some. I remember watching when I was a teenager. My dad had one of those like Bill Clinton conspiracy theory movies or whatever, where they go over some of these things. Vince Foster, I guess, is probably the most famous version of this. But there have been apparently a lot of people who've mysteriously dropped dead that have had connections with the Clintons.
Comey's statement continues, and looking back at our investigations into mishandling or removal of classified information, we cannot find a case that would support bringing a criminal charge on these facts. All the cases prosecuted involve some combination of clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information, or vast quantities of material exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct, or indications of disloyalty to the United States, or efforts to obstruct justice. We do not see these things here. To be clear...
Oh, she's definitely loyal to the United States. I mean, they're going to protect her on this one.
To be clear, this is not to suggest that in similar circumstances, a person who engaged in this activity would face no consequences, but that is not what we are deciding here.
So what he just said was that you... if you were in this circumstance instead of Hillary, would face charges.
You, right? Me, Private Manning, Thomas Drake, John Kirikou.
Right out. I mean, he's just coming right out and saying, yeah, this is our girl, we're protecting her, but everybody else, if you did the same thing, you'd be going to prison.
Yes. That's what he said.
Yeah.
It's stunning to me how brazen they've become. And the people in the government are just basically saying there are two classes of people, those that need to obey the law and those that work for the law.
That's right.
We make the rules, might makes right, and we're mightier than you.
So
pay your taxes, citizen.
I think it's great that they're finally coming right out there with it. I mean, it's not like it's the first time that it's been obvious to anyone who's paid attention that there's two classes of men and women in this country, the government-connected class and then the rest of us. But, it's always nice when they come right out and admit it. Maybe some people will pay attention and they'll figure out that, these things aren't going to go away, that the preferences, the state's preferences for its own people are going to continue.
One more quote here from the statement. He says, as a result, although the Department of Justice makes final decisions on matters like this, we are expressing to Justice our view that no charges are appropriate in this case. So the FBI is recommending to the Department of Justice not to bring any charges.
Well, okay, so here's what I'm just going to predict what the conservative talk shows or whatever, or the conservative media will say about this. All right, this is why we need to get Trump in there so he can bring Clinton up on charges. He needs to clean house at the FBI and the Justice Department.
It sounds like one of the pluses.
Well, James Comey is going to have to answer to Congress.
Whoopie-doo. We'll continue. We'll share with that.
Yes.
Consider me unconcerned, but maybe we'll find out more because I don't know much about it. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Remember, Trump is buddies with Hillary Clinton, and apparently so are the Libertarian candidates as well. It's Free Talk Live.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Here's Dr. Paul Meyer, Christian psychiatrist, author of 85 books, and founder of the national chain Meyer Clinics, to tell you about To Your Health liquid vitamins.
I've been taking these every day for over a decade now, and I try to encourage every one of my clients to take them every day. And there's a number of reasons. First of all, it's the best vitamins you can get. It's got dozens of vitamins, antioxidants, and nutrients in it. And then the most important reason why I do it as a psychiatrist and recommend it to my patients is because it's got brain food in it. It's got the essential amino acids. It's got tryptophan, phenylalanine, tyrosine, choline, vitamin B6, and these chemicals that are all natural from food turn into the brain chemicals that make you happy.
To Your Health is delicious. Find out more today. Call us 800-801-3459 or visit online at mytoyourhealth.com. Use the coupon code RADIO15 for a 15% discount on your order. That's mytoyourhealth.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Tipping. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin tip returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card Bitcoin tip that's easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets and spending, and returns to the tipper if unused. Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you may join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. You know, there are a lot of choices out there when it comes to cryptocurrency wallets, but there's only one that I know of that holds Bitcoin, Ether, and the new DAO tokens. You can get it at jax.io. It's Jax, JAXX.io. It's also available through the app stores, Google or Apple. Your data is stored client-side, which means the company that made Jax they don't have access to your funds. It's cross-platform, so you can access your Bitcoin, Ether, and DAO tokens via your smartphone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop, pretty much any operating system out there. It's pretty handy. So go to jax.io. Their ultimate aim is to build you a digital command center for your life, giving you control over coins, currencies, contracts, identity, and more. It's control in the palm of your hand. Jax, JAXX.io. As we continue, hear more about the Hillary Clinton email situation here in moments. First up, though, Sarah, listening in Albuquerque. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Sarah.
Yes. You know what? I just heard this morning that Las Cruces and Santa Fe, they just turned back their red light cameras back on. They had those cameras there before. Like Las Cruces had 3, and they when ours, Albuquerque, got taken down, they took theirs down like a year later. That both of those cities turned it back on and got speeding bans. So now we have 3 cities, Rio Rancho, all 3 of them had red light cameras. So,
and does that make you happy? Are you excited about that?
Well, I'm very excited because it's a matter of time that we're going to get ours turned back on here. Albuquerque, you know what? We killed 27 pedestrians within city limit 2014.
How many of them were drunk?
You mean the pedestrians?
Yeah, how many of the pedestrians were drunk?
Quite a
because
few, I bet.
According to the numbers we talked about, I believe it was on Sunday on the show, it turns out that New Mexico is number 1 in pedestrian deaths, as you had pointed out. But it's because, well, apparently there's a lot of alcohol-related deaths because the pedestrians are drunk.
They're stumbling into the roadway.
Yeah, and you get squished out there, you know?
But you really don't care.
Why do you think red light cameras are going to make everything better? They tend to make the road more dangerous, as we've read in many studies.
We've pointed that out to her on multiple occasions.
Right. She doesn't care. She has a pathological fear of cars, but I'm trying to get her to talk about it. Sarah?
Well, yeah, I will. Wait. I will explain to you why. Because, 8 years ago, we only killed 47 pedestrians in the entire state, when we still had 5 cameras in Albuquerque, 2 in Rio Rancho, and 3 in Las Cruces. And then we had the red light
camera. Why would a red light camera make it more or less likely, or you're saying less likely, that a pedestrian would be hit?
Well, it shows that.
Are you saying that pedestrians get hit more often at intersections, just because that's where they are? I mean, it would seem that it'd be safer to cross at an intersection than it would just randomly across any point of the road, to jaywalk, if you will.
But why is it that year that we only killed 31 in our county and 47 in the entire state? We were actually 7th in the nation. 7th. We were low as the 7th. Now we jumped back to number 1. So that more people died crossing at the intersection because drivers were just
careless. You don't know that, right? You don't know that. You just know the raw death numbers. You don't know where they actually died.
Supposedly. I haven't seen these numbers, and I tend to...
but you're making that up, right, Sarah? You're just presuming it happened in an intersection.
Well, the thing is, when they had the cameras, they were a lot more careful.
You are making it up, though, right? Just to clarify, because it's obvious you're making it up because you're dodging that question.
No, it was an actual statistic. If you were to look it up to 8 years ago, we were the 7th in the nation.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you weren't the 7th in the nation. The part you're making up is that they're all happening at red, or that most of them or whatever are happening at red lights.
We're pointing out causation versus correlation.
What does that mean, Mark?
So what you're saying is the red light cameras were working and there were fewer pedestrian deaths. So therefore, and this is where you make the mistake, that because the red light cameras were there were fewer pedestrian deaths, and we don't know that. We would have to know why there were fewer pedestrian deaths. And maybe it was just one of those things about, numbers. I work for a fire department. Some weeks we have 14 calls. Some weeks we have 0. We don't know what's going to happen.
Sarah, thanks for the call tonight. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Skype into the show at username LRN.FM. Coming up here tonight, we've got the latest from Uber in Argentina. Apparently the government down there has blocked credit cards for Uber, and so they're moving to Bitcoin, which is something that a lot of us have been hoping for, and Arcade City's about ready to take off with a new app, which is also very exciting. But Darryl, you were sharing with us some excerpts from the FBI director, and then you were going to give us something else related, I think.
Yeah, so James Comey, who's the director of the FBI, and I went through all of what I wanted to from his statement that he made publicly about why Hillary is corrupt and did all sorts of illegal things, but should not be charged because she did not intend to violate the law.
I tried that in court, and it didn't work out for me.
Right. Well, that's because the thing that you were charged with, the word intent, was not in the statute.
Well, one of them was, the other one wasn't.
There are two statutes that are in play here, though, Darryl. One of them includes the term gross negligence, and negligence can, by its very definition, not have intent.
Yes. Yeah, she was extremely careless, but not grossly negligent.
It's
very,
ridiculous.
Very close. She just
negligent.
wasn't quite there.
In fact, she was really, really negligent, but not grossly negligent.
Yes. But nonetheless, FBI Director James Comey has been summoned to Congress to testify tomorrow to explain his decision to recommend no criminal charges against Hillary. That, according to the House Committee chairman, of whatever committee it is. The article here is poorly written.
So what are they going to do? They're going to call him in. They're going to grill him with some tough questions, and he's going to say, well, it's our decision.
That's the plan. However, I believe this is the Washington Post, it says the FBI did not immediately confirm whether Mr. Comey would comply. But the announcement by Representative Jason Chaffetz of Utah, chairman of the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, came after House Speaker Paul Ryan said that Mrs. Clinton should be barred from receiving classified information, an extraordinary recommendation, even if it is certain to be ignored by the Obama administration. And I guess, should Hillary be elected, she will most certainly ignore the House recommendation that she not, be able to look at classified information. In addition, Attorney General Loretta Lynch will appear Tuesday before the House Judiciary Committee, and that committee's chairman, Bob Goodlatte of Virginia, made it clear that he would focus on Mrs. Lynch's impromptu meeting with former President Bill Clinton ahead of the FBI's announcement. And this is rather suspicious, the whole thing where Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton happened to have been at an airport at the same time, and he got off of his private plane and went over to her private plane, and they chatted for half an hour about the grandkids.
Yeah. Sounds suspicious.
The way the caller was telling it the other night, it just sounded like they both happened to be in first class on a major flight together.
No. He got off of his plane, went across the tarmac to hers.
That's a little different than what
grandkids don't want to see grandma in prison.
What I'd heard. 855, 450 free. It's Free Talk Live.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viba Water Pump Kit from Viba Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viba Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viba Water Pump Kit at VIBA-ODP.com from Viba Outdoor Products.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was
kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? You know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. The number here, 855-450-FREE. Discussing the Hillary Clinton debacle. A lot of people are shocked. A lot of the conservative types are outraged that the FBI, their heroes, their police heroes, will not indict Hillary Clinton for an ostensible violation of some sort of law.
I think the libertarians are just sitting here like, oh, yeah, I told you so.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we said the other night.
Whatever.
I hadn't even heard the news, and somebody called in and like, what do you think about this? What? Am I supposed to be surprised that they're not going to go after one of their own people? It doesn't matter whether you're conservative or liberal. Look, they're all on the same team. They just make you – they want to make you feel like they don't like each other. They all hang out at like the same galas and balls. They're in the same clubs, the Skull and Bones, the Bilderbergs. I mean, they all, the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations, they all are buddy-buddy. There's that picture with Donald Trump, with his arm around Hillary or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they're old pals. There have been pictures of Bill Clinton taken with George W. Bush, like that they're just hanging out. Oh, hey, buddy. Oh, hey. That's how these people are. They want you to believe there's a difference between them, but ultimately they're all in favor of enlarging the state, having the state have more power over your life. The disagreements between them are just minor quibbles on which direction the state should grow.
Yeah. And I love the quote from Jesse Ventura, and I don't remember it verbatim, but it was something along the lines of politics is a lot like pro wrestling. In front of the cameras, they argue and fight, but behind the cameras, they share beers with one another.
Yep, exactly. So where are we on this thing? We got more? Actually, Ricky's on the line. We should
there's
talk
a little
to
bit more from this article, and it's actually from the New York Times. I thought it was the Washington Post.
We'll get a little bit further into that. But first, Ricky is on the line in Pennsylvania. Ricky, go ahead with your thoughts.
Ian, good evening.
Hey, you're actually on with Ian, Mark, and Darryl.
Darryl, I love you, Darryl.
Oh,
thank you, Ricky.
We'll talk in the future.
Mark gets no love. Okay, go
Hillary
ahead.
Clinton, how she got hacked. This is going to be broken into two parts. The other part tomorrow is who she was being protected from. Now, do you want to know how she got hacked?
Wasn't there some...
Call me a fanboy, Ian, I'll tell you.
Gussifer, wasn't that his name? A hacker of some sort?
Gussifer, yeah.
No, I can tell you how... No, you called me a fanboy the other night. I will tell you how she got hacked.
Fanboy? What did I call you a fanboy of?
For the Microsoft thing.
Oh, yeah, you kept dropping Bing. He called in and dropped Microsoft Bing's name on here a bunch of times.
Nobody uses that. Forget that. This is important.
It almost sounded like you're holding Microsoft stock and trying to promote something. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, first of all, you got to remember this was 2009. I was carrying a smartphone in the end of 2004. It was called a Nokia 6620, a piece of history. Now, Hillary Clinton they were protecting her. She wanted a better phone. Now, Obama was carrying a BlackBerry. Now, the thing was, she was offered a General Dynamics Spectra Edge that was then it was certified for the NSA. Now, then she didn't want this. She wanted something newer. Now, that's where I'm going to get into tomorrow.
How do you know
now,
that?
What happened,
Yeah, I mean, this is it's
my
a
thing
claim.
is phone.
What?
Your thing is phones.
That's my thing.
So what, were you the phone salesman or something? Like, how did you know that she wanted this different model and was even offered the other model in the first place?
First of all, this came out. Second of all, I'm familiar with the high-end security because of what I do. I carry a more secure phone than you guys do. We'll get into that tomorrow.
Probably.
He's teasing his next call. This is interesting, I got to say.
Because I got to tell you tomorrow who it is and why. Now, I'll tell you how she got hacked. She got hacked by the phone. And because, see, I was carrying an 07, a Blackjack. It was a Samsung device running Windows Mobile 6. Basically, it was Windows RT, the same thing that was on the original
Windows
server.
RT? Is that the Russia Today version of Windows?
No, it's a long story. Forget about that.
I bet it is.
Let me continue, please.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
So what time period is this? Because I don't recognize what a Samsung Blackjack is. I'm sorry. What time frame are we talking about?
2007.
Okay. Now, this all started way back. All right, go ahead.
She wasn't even Secretary of State at that time.
Correct. She was running for the 2008 Democratic presidential nomination.
So how does what her
goes back? That's part of the story.
Wait a minute.
Darryl.
So how is it that her phone that she had in the year 2007 has anything to do with the email server getting hacked?
I'm going to tell you how, because this goes back to 2009. You guys got to do your research better, and you got to get a better
I don't think I really care that much. Go ahead.
It is important. Okay, what happened? Ian, trust me.
No, I don't. I don't know who you are. I'm sorry.
Go on.
You're a caller.
Okay, Ian, no.
Spit it out.
No, that had call encryption like Signal before that existed.
Oh, really?
It had a secure email server. It ran Windows CE.
Windows
the same
CE.
thing it used to be on the HP Palm.
Right. Okay.
And also on the Sega Dreamcast.
You are all over the place.
No, that's a fact. That is not all over the place.
You are so funny. While it is true that you can actually run a version of Windows on the Sega Dreamcast, I don't know what that has anything to do with.
It runs Windows CE.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just telling you reference to it because you got before your time.
Actually, I have a Sega Dreamcast, so no, it's not before my time.
Just listen to me, Ian.
We're listening closely with rapt attention.
They hacked her through the phone. The rumor in the high-tech community, and this is 2009, something brand new came out that wasn't even good at making phone calls called an iPhone. That's the rumor. And that rumor's been around a while. Now, I could tell you how she got hacked.
You just said it was through the phone.
You guys probably carry Androids and iPhones. I don't.
Yeah.
This is why.
What phone are you using?
I mean, by all means,
a Windows phone. He told us that the first time he called in.
Lumia 950.
Huh?
And I guarantee Lumia 950.
Lumia 950. All right, so you've thrown out a bunch of phone names. You've thrown out some dates.
The model was $4,000.
Just because you know a bunch of phone model names. Just because you know a bunch of phone model names is not persuasive to me that you know a thing or two about what happened with Hillary Clinton getting hacked. Were you in the NSA,
Certainly
sir?
I do. Not at all.
Okay.
But I'm tech. Ian, look it up. You guys, it's on the internet.
I don't care.
There's a bunch of stuff on the internet that's not true.
Right. There's this hacker. He hacked their server. That wasn't, what are you going to say that she got socially engineered through her phone? What was it that was on her phone that allowed the hacker to get into her email server?
He ran her private server. That's not how he got her. The hacker or hackers, got her through the device. It's called a remote attack. Android's incredibly vulnerable to those because of their core. The core of Android is flawed to this day.
Well, that may be true, but I don't think you've persuaded me in any way, shape, or form to believe that Hillary Clinton, number one, would have any kind of administrative access to her server. She's a dumb politician.
She denied that phone. She took it on her own.
All right.
And it's never been disclosed that it was an iPhone. She denied that.
I don't think any of this is even relevant whatsoever. Look, I thank you for the call tonight, Ricky, and it'll be interesting to actually – I hope that he'll call in when TJ the Spy is on the show with us. So TJ, who actually was with worked for the NSA at some point in the past, might have some real good questions to ask him. Look, Hillary Clinton may have had a private email server, but what are the odds she ever did any kind of administering of that email server? I mean, come on. This lady doesn't even know how to drive. She doesn't know anything about administering an email server.
When she was asked if she wiped the server, she said, "You mean with a cloth?"
Exactly. Now, maybe she was playing dumb, but I suspect she actually doesn't know a damn thing about server administration.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on. I've got to be more savvy on the internet than she is, and I don't know anything about server administration.
Exactly. The idea that somehow the hacker accessed her server through her phone or was able to get some sort of keys or passcode just doesn't make any sense. She would have been the person with possession of the access to, I don't think, to that server. You can share your thoughts here. 855-450-FREE. It's Free Talk Live.
This is a warning to all household pests, to all cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. If you've just made yourself at home in someone else's home, you'd better hope the owners never hear about Terminix, because Terminix has the know-how and the means to do whatever it takes to remove you from that home. Terminix has over 85 years of experience exterminating invaders like you. And right now, they're making it easier than ever for homes to be protected by offering a free pest estimate to every caller at 1-800-689-2939. Cockroaches, spiders, ants, rodents, and other pests. This is your eviction notice. With one call, Terminix will remove you from the home you've invaded. If you think you can simply come back later, think again. Terminix will protect that home with a 100% satisfaction money-back guarantee, so you can never return. Warning, homeowners are calling Terminix right now for a free pest estimate at 1-800-689-2939. 1-800-689-2939.
Limitations apply. See plan for details.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline. If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 Pain Relief Hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 Pain Hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to CreditSuccessSecretsRevealed.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. The toll-free number that allows you to join us on the radio is 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Coming up, interesting news for Bitcoiners in Argentina that's related to Uber. With you in studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Mark.
And Darryl.
Mark, tell me about Freedom Fest.
Well, Freedom Fest is, it's coming up really soon. It's July the 13th through the 16th at Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. It's going to be a huge event. It is the biggest, and there's a lot of events out there that'll just throw this terminology around, but it is the biggest liberty-oriented event out there. It's the best. It's in Las Vegas. They'll have Rand Paul, Gary Johnson, Ed Asner, George Foreman, Doug Casey, John Mackey from Whole Foods, and it's going to be a great event. Now, we do have a coupon code for you to get a steep discount. So just go to freedomfest.com. When you check out, use coupon code FTL. That's FTL as in Free Talk Live. It has to be in all caps. That is very important if you wish to get the discount.
All right.
Don't miss out on this amazing event, freedomfest.com. I will be there doing interviews as I have for the last couple, and I really enjoy the event. I think it's great. Come hang out with me and my wife, and we'll have a good old time.
What were the dates for Freedom Fest again?
13th through the 16th at Planet Hollywood.
This month?
Yeah,
That's
right.
coming up.
Yeah, it's. I'm going to be gone.
Okay. All right. Wow, you've got a busy week.
Yep.
Freedom Fest, then D10E.
Then D10E, yeah.
Wow, all right.
You'll be rid of us for a while. Rid of me for a while. Daryl's going to take over in our absence.
He kind of already has taken over for you. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. All right, so did you say there was more Hillary mumbo-jumbo?
There is a little bit more Hillary mumbo-jumbo. And just to recap, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, chaired by Representative Jason Chaffetz of Utah, has summoned James Comey to testify or answer some questions in their committee tomorrow. And there's another committee, the House Judiciary Committee, chaired by Representative Bob Goodlatte of Virginia, who has summoned Loretta Lynch to testify. Representative Goodlatte says the decision not to prosecute is uniquely troubling in light of Attorney General Lynch's secret meeting with former President Bill Clinton. No one is above the law.
And Lynch is, as the Attorney General, the head of the U.S. Attorneys, the Justice Department.
Yes, she is the top prosecutor in the country. So if she says prosecute, somebody's getting prosecuted. If she says don't do it, then it's not happening. Speaker Paul Ryan's comments and the grilling of Comey and Lynch may escalate a political confrontation between Democrats and Republicans just days before Congress breaks for a recess so the major parties can hold their presidential nominating conventions, both coming up towards the end of the month. Compounding the tension, Donald Trump will visit Capitol Hill on Thursday morning to meet with House Republicans. Paul Ryan said, "What bothers me about this is the Clintons really are living above the law. They're being held by a different set of standards. That is clearly what it looks like. This is why we're going to have hearings, and this is why I think Comey should give us all the publicly available information to see how and why they reached these conclusions."
It's all tough talk, window dressing. It is meaningless. I mean, these guys aren't stupid. They know they're all above the law. They're all part of the same club for the most part. Every now and then, one of them will get sacrificed to, the system. I had asked
just
the other
about
night,
all the governors of Illinois, though.
I had asked the other night. Well, I'd asked the other night on the air, who was the last person in D.C. of any kind of significance to get gone after, to have, criminal charges brought against them?
David Petraeus.
And that was the military guy?
Yes. He shared some classified information with his mistress who was writing his biography. And
What
he
happened
wound
to him?
up taking a plea deal and getting
No jail
a
time,
couple
right?
years. I don't recall if there was jail time, but I know there's
never
probation.
jail time. Almost never jail time for these people. And I got to give credit to James Whittakind. He actually sent a message on Skype saying Scooter Libby. I didn't even think of that name, but I guess he was somewhat high ranking.
Scooter Libby was
stuff in his pants, didn't he?
prosecuted and then I think almost immediately given a pardon.
Is that right? So, yeah. So even in the instances where it looks like they're coming after one of them, ultimately there's very little in the way of consequences. The Illinois governor's excluded. That's sort of like a weird case where there's actual corruption and actual prosecutions.
They just keep going to jail. This isn't corruption?
Right. No. Well, I guess I'm sorry. They're actually going after corrupt politicians in Illinois, even though the state's full of them. So that's one of the oddballs or odd men out, if you will, as far as these.
I just want to know why governors don't get the same pass, because it's clear that, the head of the FBI said that Clinton broke the law and then said they weren't going to recommend charges against her, meaning that they won't charge her herself.
And then the Speaker of the House in Alabama was recently convicted on a bunch of ethics violations and removed from office. So there's somebody else. Also not D.C.,
but didn't go to prison?
He has not yet been sentenced.
I see. So, yeah, I just don't believe it. This Paul Ryan, he's just doing political posturing. He wants to,
Of course he is.
He wants the Republicans to think he's some sort of hero for trying to...
It's an election year. He's
Right.
got to put on a good show in front of the crowd.
That's all this is.
Well,
it's just a show.
I think these people genuinely don't get along or whatever, but they still
They got
believe,
you fooled.
They still believe that there's a that there's this the deference to power, that there's a that people who are in the business deserve a certain deference. And anybody, frankly, I don't think it's that big of a deal for somebody to want an email server at their house. I don't think that's that big of a deal. I think the United States government shouldn't have as many secrets as it has. And that way, there wouldn't be the problem of all this classified stuff. But, it color me unsurprised that the FBI decided not to do anything about this. They don't want the trouble.
Yep. All right. We got anything else?
Nope.
Toll-free number tonight. You can join us here, 855-450-FREE. Maybe you actually think that the Republicans really care about this, that they actually really want to stick it to Hillary, and that the darn FBI, they're just standing in the way of what they really want. I don't believe it. I think it's all just posturing, that this Paul Ryan, he just wants to look like he is some sort of hero to these Republicans out there so he can get campaign contributions, he can get campaign volunteers, or whatever.
That's sure he wants to look good. If this is the case, Ian, if what you're saying is true, they're all on one big team, and that team is them versus us. I agree with that statement. But why haven't the Republicans allowed the Democrats to pass the statist laws that they've wanted to pass in the last few years where the Republicans have controlled the House?
You mean they haven't? Isn't there Obamacare?
Obamacare didn't go through with the Republican House.
Okay. So they don't...
There was there's like 2 months in 2008 that that the Democrats controlled everything except they didn't have a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate.
Well, it wouldn't be good for their fundraising if they just went along with the Democrats on everything. I mean,
if they want to stop the Democrat from getting into, if they want the Republican in the White House, then getting the Democrat arrested would be really, really beneficial.
Well, but some of them don't want the Republican in the White House. There's a big anti-Trump campaign within the Republican Party. They're sort of splitting the Republicans.
If they had that kind of control, they could just kick Trump out of the convention. They could have rigged the elections in the beginning. They could have kicked Trump out of the they could kick Trump out and then put in whoever they want to put in, and then put that person into office because they'll cakewalk through this. Clinton would have lost to anyone except Trump. Trump was the worst choice. Clinton was the worst choice. We get a choice between the worst choices.
That there's still a theoretical possibility that Donald Trump does not become the Republican nominee if enough delegates that are pledged to Trump just don't vote on the first round, to where Trump does not get a majority of votes eligible to be cast.
So if they just, whatever the reason, they could, not show up. Sorry, I was in the bathroom. That kind of thing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's...
If enough of them, then it goes to a second ballot, and nobody is bound to anybody on the second ballot.
And then someone else can throw in their hat into the second ballot, or can someone throw in on the first ballot? Is it going to be Trump versus Kasich? Has he even dropped out? Or
it's Trump versus everybody that's won a certain number of
6 states, right?
Something like that. But that number could change before the beginning of the convention, because that's how they've got their thing set up.
All right.
Where they vote on rules and then they vote on other stuff.
I'm not saying they all agree with one another, Mark. People in search of power don't necessarily get along perfectly. They don't necessarily agree with one another, but they do agree, I think what Darryl was saying, that they're going to give each other a pass, that they're all ultimately on the same team, and they're going in generally the same direction, and that they are a special class of people compared to the rest of us. I think most of them would probably agree on that, although they wouldn't admit it. 855-450-FREE, that's 855-450-3733, but certainly within them there are personality conflicts and clashes, just like within any movement of human beings. Hour 3's on the way.
For Bitcoin to be ubiquitous, people need to use it. For people to use it, they must have it. How can we get Bitcoin into more hands? Well, tipping might be a great way. What if you could include a bonus Bitcoin tip along with your regular tip to a server? What if that Bitcoin returned to you if unclaimed after 30 days? An attractive business card-sized Bitcoin tip that is easily claimed, gives instructions on wallets, spending, and returns to the user if unused? Tip.freetalklive.com. Tip.freetalklive.com.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $4 higher at $1,365 per ounce. Silver is even at $20 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $671 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping clients to buy and sell precious metals for nearly 40 years. Can we help you? For more information, give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 6th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.09 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,370 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $676. Antiwar.com reports adding to a string of suicide attacks in both Iraq and Syria around the end of Ramadan. A motorcycle bomber hit a bakery in the northeastern Syrian city of Hasakah on Tuesday evening, killing at least 16 civilians in a Kurdish-dominated neighborhood. The bakery, like a lot of bakeries in the Muslim world, had a long line of customers looking to buy baked goods for Eid al-Fitr, a major celebratory feast that marks the end of Ramadan. In addition to killing 16 people, the bombings wounded at least 40 others. Reports out of the area suggest that among the wounded, some 15 remain gravely so, and that it is likely the final death toll will be a bit higher. Officials have not identified the attacker, who reportedly just drove up to the bakery's entrance and detonated. Hasakah is the de facto capital of the territory held by the Kurdish YPG and has regularly been targeted by the Islamic State throughout the war. Though they have yet to claim responsibility for the latest incident, they are responsible for materially all such attacks in the area. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports the Transportation Security Administration and the largest air carrier in the United States announced a joint initiative Tuesday that will test new automated passenger screening lanes at certain U.S. airports beginning this fall. The plan by the TSA and American Airlines will test new screening technology, including automated security screening lanes and what's known as commuted tomography scanners, CT, to inspect carry-on luggage. CT scanning is already used to evaluate checked luggage. Officials said the new technology should replace wait times at security checkpoints by about 30%. TSA Administrator Peter Neffinger said in a statement Tuesday, "Our foremost priority is the security of the traveling public. The new procedures will be tested beginning this fall at various American hubs across the United States, including Dallas-Fort Worth, Los Angeles, and Miami, and the CT carry-on screening will be tested at Sky Harbor International Airport in Phoenix." The news from the TSA comes amid a busy summer travel season, which has seen long security lines at some of the nation's busiest airports, like Chicago's O'Hare. The automated lanes will feature technology that screens luggage in X-ray machines, more efficiently isolates suspicious bags for further inspection, uses larger property bins, utilizes RFID tags in bins, and takes additional images of baggage exterior for comparison to X-ray images. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. Reuters reports the FBI recommended on Tuesday that no criminal charges be filed over Hillary Clinton's use of private email servers while she was Secretary of State, but rebuked the Democratic U.S. presidential candidate for extremely careless handling of classified information. While FBI Director James Comey's announcement lifted a cloud of uncertainty that had loomed over Clinton's White House campaign, Comey's comments are likely to reinforce what polls show are widespread public concerns about Clinton's honesty and trustworthiness. Republicans have pointed to the controversy as evidence that she has considered herself above the law. In a lengthy statement on the FBI's conclusions from its year-long investigation, Comey directly contradicted statements Clinton made while defending her use of the private email setup. He said, for example, that the FBI found at least 110 emails that contained classified information when they were sent, although Clinton has repeatedly said she never sent or received classified information on her private email server. Comey said the FBI concluded no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges. His recommendation will likely stand. The country's top prosecutor, U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, said on Friday she would accept the recommendations of career prosecutors and the FBI director on whether to charge Clinton for mishandling emails. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
A report released Tuesday by physicists at Stanford University revealed that the entire known universe, from the whole of human civilization to the totality of matter and energy, is actually the fictional setting of a cop show called Hard Case. According to authors of the report, existence as we know it was created solely to provide the framework for the primetime drama that airs weekly in a parallel universe, and that every historical event prior to the show's September 2008 pilot, including the Renaissance, World War II, evolution, the September 11th attacks, and the presidential administrations of Washington through Clinton, never actually happened and are merely part of the elaborate backstory crafted by Hard Case creator and showrunner Dominic Egan.
We used to believe that our universe operated under immutable laws of thermodynamics and gravitational relativity, but now we know everything just comes from the minds of Hard Case's 12 staff writers. Overall, it seems like a very well-written show.
Physicists have theorized that the universe as we know it will cease to exist whenever Hard Case airs its final episode.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You can bring up whatever's on your mind here. 855-450-FREE. Some interesting Bitcoin news internationally here in moments. With you in studio, it's Ian.
And Mark.
And Darryl.
To the phones, to the fun. Toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. Skype username is LRN.FM. Let's go to Craig in California. Craig, you're on Free Talk Live.
How you guys doing?
Hey, go ahead, sir.
Hey, I've never called a radio show before, but I know you guys are big promoters of Bitcoin,
yes.
And I have a question.
Okay.
Who's behind Bitcoin?
Well, that's an interesting question. Nobody really knows.
Well, you guys always mention the guy Satoshi or somebody like that.
Correct. Satoshi Nakamoto is the creator of Bitcoin, but no one knows who that is.
But you know what open source software is, right?
No, I'm not really much of a tech guy. Okay. Not much.
So it's important to note that there's a creator of the code, but that the code is open to everyone to see what's in the code. So sort of it eliminates deep dark,
no secrets, no backdoors,
conspiracy theories.
Right. So Windows is closed source, meaning that Microsoft does not want you to see their code.
That's right.
Linux is open source, meaning that you can look at the code, you can tinker with the code.
Programmers who know what they're doing can audit Bitcoin. They can go in there, they can make sure there's no backdoors that have been programmed in, that that's not something that somebody could hack into. So that's the benefit of open source.
My question is really this. If you don't know who's really behind Bitcoin, how do we know it's not the same government or the same Federal Reserve that we already know would do pretty much anything?
So, again, the open source concept means that anyone who knows how to program can go and audit the code. They can look through it to see if there's something suspicious or something untoward going on within the code. Ultimately, it doesn't matter who it was that spit the code out originally, which human being or set of human beings that it was, if we know what it does. Because we do know it's open source, so anyone who has the chops can go and look at it. So we know what it does. We know it does what it says it's going to do, and it does it very, very well, which is the reason why Bitcoin is currently worth nearly $700 per Bitcoin. Not quite that, but 600 something.
And there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin.
But that doesn't address the issue that the guys asked.
Hold on. It partially does.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the number of Bitcoin to ever be circulated is set at 21 million. The number of Federal Reserve notes, they can just increase that at a whim at any time.
Right.
So if it were being put out by quote-unquote the powers that be, they would want something that they could manipulate and inflate or deflate on a whim, and they can't do that with Bitcoin. They can't just go and seize everything out of your wallet. That's not how Bitcoin works. But banks, the central government can say, and this happened in Greece and Cyprus, to where the central government just all of a sudden decided everything over X is getting sucked out of bank accounts.
They call it a haircut.
Right,
yeah.
Right. I'm aware of what they did in Cyprus, and they were talking about doing that in Greece as well. My question is still pretty much the same. How do you know that this is not part of the government racket.
Who made the internal combustion engine?
What's that?
Who invented the internal combustion engine?
Who invented? I have no idea.
Me either. But I use a car every single day, and you trust the lives of your children in one. That's why.
But I can take apart and put together an internal combustion.
You can take apart, if you learn how, you can take apart and put together the open source code in Bitcoin.
Yep, that's absolutely true. In fact, there have
you just don't know how. Neither do I, mind you. I want to make that clear.
But we know
But it's been for, 7 or 9 years of people who are the most government distrusting people on the planet, people who call themselves cyberpunks, crypto anarchists, the deepest, darkest parts of the web. These people who definitely have the chops, and I've met a few of them, and I gotta say, they're smarter than I am. Those folks have had a chance to tear it apart and put it back together.
Oh yeah,
and they're confident.
One related question: the guy who got busted, the Dread Pirate Roberts guy, I forget his name. Didn't he have something? Yeah, and I know, I listen to you guys, so I'm kind of aware of what's going on there. Didn't the FBI seize something like $10 or $80 million worth of Bitcoins? And if so, how is it that they're then locked out? If they're able to seize that kind of money from Ross Ulbricht,
because they had his private keys.
They were able to get them because they had access to his laptop, and apparently his private keys were in there in a non-encrypted format. So he did not have good enough operational security to make sure that they didn't get their hands on that stuff. That was his fault. That wasn't the fault of Bitcoin. That wasn't a security problem with Bitcoin. That's the equivalent to you, leaving the top down on your convertible with a basket full of cash, in the passenger side seat, and hoping that some, crackhead doesesn't come along.
Somebody came along and stole the money sitting in my convertible.
Right.
That's a flaw with
cash,
dollar bills.
Yeah. So yeah. Anytime you see failures in the marketplace in Bitcoin, it usually is the marketplace actors that are the ones that are screwing up. It's not the Bitcoin itself. That is secure. It's cryptographically secure. And if it weren't, then it would have been hacked by now. There would have been some brilliant hacker who would have figured out a way to take down Bitcoin, to steal Bitcoin from people or whatever by taking advantage of the system. But those things don't exist in Bitcoin because it's rock solid code and has been maintained and upgraded over the years by the Bitcoin developers. So there's a lot to learn if you want to learn about Bitcoin. But one thing's I think's pretty sure: the governments they're afraid of Bitcoin.
That's why they're trying to regulate the hell out of it.
Yeah, and I've got a story about that coming up tonight if we get a chance. Thanks, Craig, for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Let's go to Dave. He's in New Hampshire. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, you guys.
Hi, Dave.
I wanted to update you with regard to the situation with Jerry Delemus, I guess you could call him the Bundy Ranch activist from New Hampshire.
Yeah, this guy was out at the Bundy Ranch, which was, for listeners who don't recall, this was a few years ago now. There were some folks who had some cattle rights, grazing rights disputes with the federal government, and it came down to kind of a standoff between the feds and the Bundy family, and a bunch of people went out there to sort of support those folks. And I guess Jerry Delemus was one of those people, and the federal government recently came after him here in New Hampshire and arrested him. Is that about right?
Correct. I think they SWAT teamed his house in Rochester.
And his wife is a state representative.
Correct.
Okay.
And what happened, I guess most recently, was that he, according to Jack Kimball, the former leader of the Republican Party in New Hampshire, Delemus was supposed to have a hearing in Nevada. They shipped him off to Nevada after arresting him, and they would not give him bail. So, or at least if they did, they set it too high, and he's still in jail. And so in Nevada, they were supposed to have a hearing in June for him, regarding whether or not he really had to stay in detention. And what happened is, I guess right before the hearing, it was canceled because his government-appointed lawyer screwed something up, according to the government. The government blamed their government-appointed lawyer.
Well, you don't get the best attention from a public defender, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
What's he being charged with, by the way? Do you know?
The only charge I remember, there's several charges. The one I remember is assault on a federal officer. But if you recall, there were no federal officers harmed during the Bundy Ranch standoff. So I'm not, maybe he tapped somebody on the shoulder. I don't know. But supposedly what's happening now is that they're appealing it. They're taking it up to, I guess, a higher court or a higher level of judge. It was originally, I guess, before a magistrate. And if that doesn't go through, if they don't succeed there, he'll be in jail until his next hearing in February.
So they're appealing the decision to hold him without bail or at a high level of bail?
Correct.
Is that right?
And there's a little bit more.
All right, stand by. Dave Ridley is with us from RidleyReport.com. We'll continue here, and you can share your thoughts with us. Bring up whatever's on your mind at 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. MiniCPAP.com now offers a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's called the Transcend Mini CPAP, and right now you can try it risk-free for 10 days by calling 1-800-941-9483. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. Call minicpap.com now for your 10-day at-home trial. 1-800-941-9483. That's 1-800-941-9483.
Here's Dr. Paul Meyer, Christian psychiatrist, author of 85 books, and founder of the national chain Meyer Clinics, to tell you about To Your Health liquid vitamins.
I've been taking these every day for over a decade now, and I try to encourage every one of my clients to take them every day. And there's a number of reasons. First of all, it's the best vitamins you can get. It's got dozens of vitamins, antioxidants, and nutrients in it. And then the most important reason why I do it as a psychiatrist and recommend it to my patients is because it's got brain food in it. It's got the essential amino acids. It's got tryptophan, phenylalanine, tyrosine, choline, vitamin B6, and these chemicals that are all natural from food turn into the brain chemicals that make you happy.
To Your Health is delicious. Find out more today. Call us 800-801-3459 or visit online at mytoyourhealth.com. Use the coupon code RADIO15 for a 15% discount on your order. That's mytoyourhealth.com.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT NoGov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Skype username is LRN.FM. Coming up, more on Bitcoin in moments. The latest out of Argentina in regards to Bitcoin with Uber. But also, there's an interesting development in the world of the Free Talk Live and LRN.FM listen lines. So for a long time, we've had listen lines where if you don't have a radio station broadcasting Free Talk Live, if you don't have a free-to-air satellite system that you can listen to LRN.FM on, if you can't easily download our podcasts, you can still call on the phone, like an old phone number thing that you dial. I know most people don't use their phones for this purpose anymore, but
I do. So my phone's jacked in through my car's Bluetooth, right? Mm-hmm. I could turn on my phone and use my data plan and listen to LRN.FM's app, or
that's right. We've got an app too.
Variety of different ways. But I choose to use the telephone number because the sound quality may not be, top end, but I don't use any of my data plan minutes.
That's true. And you got unlimited long distance. So
plus, up here in New Hampshire, I'm sorry, but there's these mountains in the way of the broadcast of the cell phone towers, and so data tends to drop out more often than telephone calls do.
It's true.
That's why I choose to use it, and life's pretty good.
The listen lines work well. They've been around for a few years. We have one for LRN.FM, and we had one for Free Talk Live, which basically LRN was the LRN feed. Free Talk Live was Free Talk Live 24 hours a day. But we're taking this idea to the next level, and we now have the audio on demand listen line. It's a different phone number. It's 641-793-9660. I updated our website today with that information on it on our 24-hour listening options page. It has that information there. We'll be running promos for this as well. So you'll get the number down eventually here, and I'll give it to you again in a moment. It works on any phone. Doesn't matter whether you get a smartphone or a dumb phone or a home phone or whatever. As long as you can dial a long-distance number, you'll be able to connect to this thing. When you connect to the listen line, you can still listen to Liberty Radio Network's live feed anytime you want. So that's an option still there. But now you can choose from almost a dozen shows that tend to air live on LRN.FM. So, like Free Talk Live, of course, Declare Your Independence, The Freedom Fiends, Cop Block Radio, Flaming Freedom, a lot of your favorite shows. There's more than that, but you can go and call up the number and you can hear the whole menu. Basically, you punch a number for the show you want to listen to, and you're brought right into that show. Which is pretty cool.
It's great because now we have even more services.
Exactly. And fans of some of those shows won't have to wait until their favorite show is on in order to listen to it. If they want, they can just call up 641-793-9660 and listen to their favorite show from LRN.FM anytime they want. Favorite live show that originates live. It's not necessarily going to be live if you're listening to it on demand, but hopefully you catch my meaning there. So once again, the number is 641-793-9660. Pretty cool technology.
I'm delighted by it.
All right, so let's go back to Dave. He's in New Hampshire. He's giving us an update on Jerry Delemus, who is one of the Bundy Ranch supporters, came from New Hampshire originally and was arrested in New Hampshire by the federal government, taken to some sort of holding facility. You said in Nevada, Dave?
Correct. That's my understanding.
And they have a high level of bail on him, and he has not been able to get out of there, so he's still awaiting trial in prison.
Either high level or no bail at all.
Okay.
The thing I wanted to mention was that I guess his primary supporter that I hear the most from, other than his wife, when I watch Facebook feeds and so forth, is Jack Kimball, the former Republican Party leader in New Hampshire. And Kimball has asked that people call talk radio and write letters to the editor and so forth to raise concern about Jerry's situation. And there is a website. It's freejerrydelemus.com, I think.
Now, he's not the only one from that Bundy Ranch situation that is facing these charges, right? Didn't they go and round up a whole bunch of people?
Yeah.
Right, but we, my thinking is we always should focus like a laser on New Hampshire if we're free staters. And I've listed him as
well, I am not a free stater, but I do love liberty. And I don't know if this guy was either. He wasn't a Free State Project person, though, right?
No, he's just a normal person.
Gotcha.
I think he was even part of the Trump campaign, but I don't care about that. I care about the fact that he was targeted probably for doing nothing bad, and we need to look after our own, and he's one of ours. I listed him as
well. That's probably true that he's not done anything bad, but ultimately, I mean, I don't know if he's one of our own if he's supporting Donald Trump. I mean, that's kind of questionable.
No, I mean, he's one of our own in the sense that he's a New Hampshireite. If they did this to Maggie Hassan, I'd be concerned about that too.
All right. Well, thank you, Dave. Was there anything else you wanted to share here tonight?
Well, it just bothers me that at this point there's still a disconnect between the independence movement and all these branch hacking endeavors like let's save Jerry, let's put all this huge effort into saving one person, when if we could just get New Hampshire independent, maybe we could save them all at once.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's one of the reasons why I support the NH Exit movement that you actually started. NHExit.com is the website. I know you guys are working on improvements over there. It's not the most attractive of sites, but at least there's something there to let people know about NH Exit, the idea of New Hampshire declaring independence and leaving the United States. You know, if I'm going to put my resources somewhere, I'm going to put it into that movement rather than behind somebody who I don't really know. Whereas I've got people like Rich Paul who are also facing criminal charges, and so given that my resources are limited, I'm going to focus on the people that I absolutely know are libertarians and liberty-minded folks. So I'm probably going to pass on supporting Jerry Delemus, but I'm sure he appreciates and his family appreciate your efforts in trying to get the word out about him, and maybe some folks listening would want to help with that. What was the website again, Dave?
FreeJerryDelemus.com.
All right, Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. What do you guys think? Jerry Delemus, I mean, do you know much about the case?
I don't know what happened, those things that happened out at the Bundy Ranch. I saw pictures of, like people with FBI agents in crosshairs, and it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of what happened. I want to withhold judgment until I get more info.
It's hard there's a lot of people who are violated. They have their lives violated by the state who are innocent. They've never harmed another individual. But we can't spend our time on all of them. I wish we had the resources to do that, do something like that, some sort of court protection campaign or justice watch program or whatever, where people were paying close attention to all of the BS charges that are being brought against innocent people. I mean, I've stood outside of the courthouse and handed out don't take a plea deal information to try to get information to people on their rights, but ultimately they've got to be the ones who step up. I can't, I may know a thing or two about criminal trials, but I don't have the time to sit down and consult with absolutely everybody that's got a criminal case against them.
That's why lawyers get paid.
Well, exactly. And it's also why I can only spend time on the people that I know for sure deserve my assistance, and Rich Paul is one of those people. He's fighting a cannabis arrest here in New Hampshire. He's trying to raise money for a legal defense there, and I'm trying to help him with that because he's my friend, and he is definitely a peaceful person and does not deserve to be behind bars for this. This is Free Talk Live.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's PROPURUSA.com.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Teens Radio Show. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgoristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agorist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any tomfoolery. So go with AgoristHosting.com. And if you want to get your foot in the door with decentralized marketplaces, Agorist Hosting is now offering Open Bazaar hosting. Go to agoristhosting.com, click on the button that says Get Hosted. Agorist Hosting, that's AGORIST hosting.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You may join us here. The toll-free number 855-450-FREE with you in studio. Ian here.
And Mark.
And Darryl.
Don't forget, our fundraiser is going on right now. So the satellite fundraiser, that is. Because not everybody can listen to us on the internet, and not everybody has a phone line to call the new audio-on-demand lines. Like people out in the middle of nowhere, people that live out in countries where there's not much in the way of internet access. They still can receive satellite signals, and that's one of the reasons why we have satellite broadcasts going to North and Central America as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. Now, what I'd like to see happen is to add another satellite signal that'll cover all of Europe. It'll cover a good chunk of the Middle East as well as a portion of North Africa. It's a huge signal.
And a chunk of Russia as well.
That's true. It's a huge signal, and it's very, very popular satellite, the Hotbird satellites. You can help us fund this mission over at fund.lrn.fm. It's an Indiegogo fundraiser campaign, and we appreciate every bit of help that we can get on that. There are some perks involved, whether it's going and hanging out at your favorite LRN.FM show's studio, or a variety of other choices. You can go to fund.lrn.fm and get behind this program. Last year, we raised enough money to continue our African satellite, and this year, whether we can add a new satellite or not just depends on the amount of support the campaign gets. So if it's valuable to you to reach people who otherwise might not have ever heard the ideas of liberty before via free-to-air satellite, if it's worth 15 cents a day, that breaks down to $50 for this 1 year of fundraising. So if you can afford $50, if not, $10, whatever you got, we appreciate it. So please go to fund.lrn.fm. As we go to your phone calls and thoughts, we're going actually to Skype here first up, where we've got Socrates on the line. Socrates, go ahead.
Wanted to brush up. One of your co-hosts, Darryl Perry, went up against one of the, I guess, more infamous YouTube Democrats named Sam Seder.
Yeah. We had him on Free Talk Live several years ago.
I recall he's discussed, he's conversations with you, mauling you. So I was happy to see Darryl go on the show, but I was disappointed to see how quickly it ended.
How long was the interview?
I think that the interview, from the clip that I saw that Sam Seder himself put up, it seemed to be about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes.
I was on for at least half hour, if not 45 minutes.
So the dude edited your appearance?
If he only put up a 2-minute video, then yes, he greatly edited the appearance.
Interesting.
It seemed that he asked you a question about, hey, in a free market, Darryl, right? This is what triggered Darryl to, I guess, hanging up on the call.
No. So hold on. Since you only saw a 2.5-minute video, allow me to explain. You saw the 5th time he asked me the same question that I kept responding by, I don't know how it's going to work in a free society, and that's the wonderful thing about freedom, is that I don't get to tell people what to do.
But he was badgering you with the same question.
And this...
Did you get your own recording of the full interview?
I did not.
Because it would be interesting.
I don't care about a full recording.
But it would be kind of interesting to have you release the full recording, and then he's got this edited clip, right?
Right. So let me explain a little bit about what happened. Because this guy was setting me off, he had this whole thing set up to piss me off from the get-go.
He's probably mad about the way he got interviewed on Free Talk Live.
Could be.
So initially they said that they were going to call at 10 after 12. And then I get an email that says it'll be 12:15, and then at 12:15 we'll call you at 12:20, and then at 12:20 I send an email, I'm waiting on your call, and then they said we'll call you in a couple minutes. And so I'm waiting, and this happened right after I found out that a friend of mine had passed away. So I was having a bad day anyway, and then this guy just kept asking the same question, badgering me, and I had enough.
The clip itself was spent half the time after you hung up. They were talking about how they devoted the entire time to not make you angry. And they specifically went on to, they laughed and said, should we call him back? And I was curious because they did discuss about 5 minutes about calling you back, sending you emails, apologizing for making you angry. Did they do those things? Just for context before I get into it.
They did send an email asking if I would be interested in returning to the show, and I said no.
Fair enough.
So there was no apology in it?
Not that I can recall. I'll pull up the email or try to pull up the email again. But basically they said, can we call you back? And I said no.
Yeah, they said they were going to do that, but they were laughing at how they thought they were being so kind and so nice. So perhaps that's the editing. But bottom line is,
they were laughing because they were a-holes.
Well, of course, the best way to describe Sam Seder every single time I've seen him would be one of those utensils that cleans a woman's vagina. I don't think that's very appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah. The difference is those things are actually useful.
But here's the thing, Darryl. When it comes down to the fact when somebody says, how do we, if there's a dispute on who owns property, land, right? This is the question that they kept hammering to you, right? Two people have claim to the same ownership of property, right? They say, and you have your agency and they have their agency. How is that settled? And they put you into a box because you started to answer it, and then you said, I don't know. And they were like, aha.
And that's the thing. I don't know. I don't know who's going to own the company that sells light bulbs.
Right.
I don't know who's going to change the oil on the president's car. Like there's a lot of things that I don't know, and I don't need to know these things because that's how freedom works. Freedom means people get to make choices for themselves, and it doesn't get micromanaged.
Well, I'd like to take a poke at it.
Please.
Why in the world do we think that we need a monopoly on organizations that list who owns property? I mean, there are all kinds of disputes in the world about who owns property, and somehow we make it work. Are we saying in a free market where things tend to run more efficiently that somehow organizations that list the names of people who own property will not be able to do it because there's not a monopoly? Because that seems ridiculous. All that we propose, and look, all libertarians propose, is that I be able to opt out of a particular system. That doesn't mean that property ownership's just going to fly out of the door. It just means that I don't have to pay for your dumb school or whatever.
Right, and I mentioned about wanting to be able to opt out, and then this guy said something about there has to be a monopoly, and I said, okay, so let me ask you this question. What should happen to me if I don't pay taxes? And he said, well, currently, and I said, no, Sam, I want you to tell me what you think should happen to me. And then he said that he thinks that I should be in prison. Was that in the clip that you saw, or did he edit that out?
No. And then he said, what? Well, after he hung up, he said, he asked me to say it, right? And then that was how it ended. But the problem with how it went to that point, which is fine, is to address the issue with property rights. He said, well, if there's two people that have claim to the same ownership of land, right, there's got to be some organization that can settle disputes unilaterally, because we can't have all these people having disputes between one organization and another organization. And I said, right, that's why there's something called arbitration. Generally, you generally have people that want to have a respectful how could you say?
And I mentioned arbitration, and he wanted to know who would be the arbitrator.
Right, and the thing is what all arbitrators are judges without a monopoly. And frankly, picking judges through systems of voting or political systems of appointment has been shown to be highly inefficient and to favor the rich and well-connected. Isn't that so, Sam?
Thanks, Socrates, for your call, man. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You know what? On the way, we'll talk Bitcoin, because there's some pretty great news for Bitcoin users in Argentina and not good news for Bitcoin users in the European Union.
Ruh-roh.
How much of that we'll get to, I don't know. But at some point, we'll talk about it over the coming days. You can join us in the meantime. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Take control of the airwaves here in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live, which are coming up.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. You can buy them through expresscoin.com with a check or money order. There are other ways to get Bitcoin, but that's fast, safe, and easy. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
ASAP what? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Visit GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
Is spreading the message of liberty and peace around the globe worth 15 cents per day to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. Last year, we did a fundraiser that successfully covered the costs of continuing our African channel. This year, we're hoping to raise enough to fund a new satellite signal that will cover Europe, North Africa, and much of the Middle East. You can donate as much or as little as you like via the Indiegogo campaign at fund.lrn.fm. And there are perks available like sitting in on your favorite LRN.FM show, exclusive shiny badges, or even naming a satellite channel. Please contribute now at fund.lrn.fm and help us continue our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. The fundraiser ends August 19th, so please visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. We've got enough time for you. Had a lot of Skype callers tonight. If you want to call on Skype, you'll sound pretty good. Skype username is lrn.fm. And also you can call toll-free at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live, one of the ways you can support our show is by becoming a Free Talk Live amplifier. It's $5 per month with any major credit card through PayPal or Visa or MasterCard right there on our website. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. Get signed up there. It makes a huge difference for us. It helps us advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. And you get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, as well as the AMP-only Facebook group, which is a pretty cool thing. So go and get all the details. Get signed up. It makes a big difference for us. We really appreciate it. Go to amp.freetalklive.com, ampamp.freetalklive.com. And at some point, we're going to get Bitcoin turned back on for the AMP program, but unfortunately, we currently cannot accept Bitcoin for AMP. We can accept Bitcoin via our tip jar at bitcoin.freetalklive.com, so feel free to donate as much of that as you like, and as well as alternatives to Bitcoin like the altcoins, Ether, or the dozens of others, which you can send to us via the Shapeshift app, which is built right into the Bitcoin tip jar page at bitcoin.freetalklive.com. But there's big news that I think a lot of Uber and ride-sharing people have been waiting for, especially Bitcoin people, and that is that apparently Uber is finally embracing Bitcoin.
in Argentina. Well, why Argentina? Well,
why not all over?
Yeah, why not all over? In fact, maybe that's coming soon. But right now, the story coming from Cointelegraph.com's Joel Valenzuela. He writes that the Argentinian government has blocked credit card companies from dealing with Uber, causing the ride-sharing company's national branch to use Bitcoin instead. The city of Buenos Aires issued orders both to the National Communications Agency and credit card companies to block the Uber app and deny the company use of credit card service. This prompted Uber to partner with a Swiss Bitcoin company, Zappo, to enable payments through Bitcoin debit cards. The ride-sharing company has faced harsh resistance in Argentina, particularly in Buenos Aires. Taxi unions sued the city and Uber, resulting in a judge issuing an injunction to stop ride-sharing services in the city. Later, both the prosecutor and judge ordered the communications agency, Enacom, to block the Uber app within the city limits. Finally, both the Consumer Protection Agency of Buenos Aires and a judge ordered credit card companies to cease doing business with Uber. I mean, everything is allayed against Uber in this particular case.
Yep, but they're still coming back.
It's amazing that they're continuing to try to operate within the city. As a response to this perceived threat to the taxi industry, the Transportation Agency of Buenos Aires has announced development of a taxi app. This app, dubbed BA Taxi, is expected to help provide a government-sanctioned answer to the convenience of Uber's app. Well, that's bound to be a boondoggle. Imagine how much that's going to cost for the government to develop an alternative to Uber. Now, we know that in big cities like New York City, where Uber has come in and provided much-needed competition to the cab companies, that the cab companies, on their own volition, have come up with apps. So the old school cab companies are trying their best to compete on their own because that's, the market. It's competition. But in this case, the government wants to assist the cabbies and make them just an absolute, probably disaster of a program.
I'm here from the government, and I'm here to help.
By and large, Uber's consumers or customers are adapting well to using Bitcoin through Zappo's debit card, for which Uber gave a $30 discount. President of Bitcoin Latham and CEO of RSK Labs sees Uber's typical customers being willing to embrace new technology. Quote, in general, Uber users are highly knowledgeable about technology and more prone to Bitcoin understanding and usage. Fears about Bitcoin usually come from more illiterate users. So I agree. This is a perfect match for technology here. You've got young people.
Pretty good, yeah.
Uber customers are, by and large, young people. And when I say that, I mean people under the age of 50. Certainly under the age of, in my brief experience as an Uber driver, I would say I didn't get a single customer over the age of 40. And most of them were probably in their mid-20s or early 20s.
Did they fire you, Uber?
Did they fire me?
Yeah, you said as your brief career.
Well, yeah, I'm on a wait list.
Okay.
Which Uber is not explaining why I'm on a wait list.
Okay.
I was put on the wait list not long after some people from Stop Free Keene sent messages.
Called in and could have said anything.
To Uber, likely said that, I'm some sort of child molester or something like that because the FBI raided the offices here at LRN.FM. And, no charges have come from that. But that's just my speculation. I don't know what else it could possibly be. And when I've contacted them about, hey, I'm on this wait list here. What's going on? Would like to do some more driving for you. Their response is, well, we're currently investigating this and we'll let you know.
Yeah, we get investigated for your lifetime.
It's been 3 months since I've been put on that list.
It's a thorough investigation.
I am by no means happy with Uber as a company.
I'm happy that they're accepting Bitcoin in Argentina and hope that they can, since they're implementing that there, that they will implement that worldwide.
I hope so, too.
Which could very well be that thing that kicks Bitcoin into ubiquity. I thought it was going to be purse.freetalklive.com, or excuse me, what is it? SaveItPurse.com.
SaveItPurse.
Where you can save, 15 to 25% on everything you buy at Amazon.
That's right. Yeah, you still can.
It's great, but it doesn't seem to have really shoved it into a ubiquity. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be one particular thing
it
that
could not
launches
be one
Bitcoin
thing.
into the stratosphere. It's going to be a multitude of them. So, yes, I still support the idea of Uber. I still support the idea of them taking on Bitcoin. I like the idea of ride sharing and just sort of disrupting the establishment. And Uber's still good at doing those things. But as far as their servicing of their drivers, I mean, I had 5 stars. Every rating I ever got from a customer, and I only went out driving a few times, but of all the ratings I got, they were 100% of them were 5-star ratings. So
sure, they got to ride around in a crappy old cop car.
That's right. Yeah, despite the fact that the cop car was rusting on the top and the engine knocks, people love it, man. You pull up in that cruiser, you pull up in a cop car like that, and it's almost a guaranteed comment from everyone that gets into the car.
I love the mandatory toothbrushing bumper sticker.
Yeah, that's on there. Vermin Supreme. So anyway, I'm not happy with Uber's service level towards their actual people that work for them or are contractors for them. And a lot of people aren't happy with Uber because they've cut rates. Uber has made it more difficult to drive in some places because it's you have to drive the same amount, but you're getting less, so you've got to drive more if you want to make the same amount. It's kind of a mess, which is why they need competition. And I think we'll be talking soon about Arcade City. Looks like they're getting closer to relaunching their app.
And hopefully Arcade City will be more competition than, say, Lyft or Sidecar.
Sidecar went out of business, I believe.
Well, that would explain why they're not much competition.
They're not much competition at all. Did you know that Arcade City is sponsoring Free Talk Live at D10E?
I did not know that.
Indeed, yes.
Does that mean we're going to take an arcade to get from our
I'd love that.
The airport to the hotel or something like that? Arcade City's
Talk to
big.
Christopher David.
Arcade City's big in Austin. They're kind of doing, for those that don't know, Arcade City is a more decentralized ride-sharing, what will be an app. It was an app. They pulled the app a few months ago, and they've been retooling it.
If you have the app on your phone currently, it will still work.
It still works, yeah. But they've really had a huge explosion in publicity within the last month since they went into Austin, Texas, and took advantage of Uber and Lyft leaving town. The Arcade City group in Austin, Texas, last I heard, had 28,000 members in a Facebook group where, because they don't have their app out yet, there's still people who want to use this decentralized concept, and so they'll just go into this Facebook group and post, "Hey, I need a ride."
Currently 37,499 people. But I've heard that there's also some undercover cops that are in this group.
Yeah, there are. They've been
to where they're
people.
Trying to set people up and bust them.
Right, and they have been going after and impounding cars, I believe, in Austin. So it's going to be a rocky road for the decentralized Arcade City. But I'm a big fan of what they're doing. And Christopher David, of course, is a liberty activist from here in New Hampshire.
And I saw Chris over the weekend at the Startup Society Summit.
That's right.
And he's got some huge plans for Arcade City that I cannot wait until they're active so that we can actually talk about them.
Ooh, good tease. So, yeah, there you go. Uber in Argentina taking Bitcoin. I think that's good news. According to Franco Amati, co-organizer of the Latin American Bitcoin Conference, most users have flocked to Bitcoin rather than to lose Uber. Quote, nobody's deleting Uber's app because of this. On the contrary, I have friends that requested Bitcoin debit cards just to use Uber. Most of them from Satoshi Tango, since they have an option for a virtual debit card, so they don't even need to wait for the physical card to be delivered. So I guess they're talking about one of these cards, sort of like the WageCan card. Or
well, the WageCan is a physical card.
That's what they're saying here. There's some people waiting for a physical card to be delivered from this company, Zappo.
Right, but they also said there's a virtual card.
Correct. So you can get, I guess, either one from them. So very, very cool news. Hopefully this will see a Bitcoin explosion in Argentina because Uber's popular. There's a lot of people who use that service. We'll let you know what the latest is on Arcade City in the coming days as well. We'll see you tomorrow online in the meantime at freetalklive.com.
A new Gallup poll found that the GOP has an overwhelming advantage among young people who look like old men. The poll shows Republicans hold a solid lead among the coveted elderly youth demographic, including 18 to 24-year-olds who wear suspenders and bow ties to class every day. I'm joined by Republican strategist Rob Powell. These are pretty encouraging numbers for the GOP, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, it's very encouraging. Millennials who look like they're permanently dressed for boat trips are a rapidly growing segment of the population.
And according to the survey, the prematurely aged are also very politically active.
Absolutely. Only about 20% of young people vote overall, but there's almost 100% turnout among youth that dress like a dad from a 1950s sitcom.
Now, what about the criticism that the GOP only appeals to white men?
Not true. We also have a lot of support among sorority girls that wear pantsuits and pearls, paunchy Chinese college students, and we're making inroads among African American ham radio enthusiasts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Are you a political activist who does things that the government might not like? Then this free ebook may save your life. Rats is your guide to protecting yourself against snitches, informers, informants, agents provocateur, narcs, finks, and similar vermin. Rats was written by OG libertarian Claire Wolfe. Rats is a short book, easy to read, and available free in many formats. Download Rats free at rats-nosnitch.com. That's rats-nosnitch.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Cop Block Radio is up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, July 6th, 2016. Silver is trading at $20.09 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,370 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $676. Antiwar.com reports adding to a string of suicide attacks in both Iraq and Syria around the end of Ramadan. A motorcycle bomber hit a bakery in the northeastern Syrian city of Hasakah on Tuesday evening, killing at least 16 civilians in a Kurdish-dominated neighborhood. The bakery, like a lot of bakeries in the Muslim world, had a long line of customers looking to buy baked goods for Eid al-Fitr, a major celebratory feast that marks the end of Ramadan. In addition to killing 16 people, the bombings wounded at least 40 others. Reports out of the area suggest that among the wounded, some 15 remain gravely so, and that it is likely the final death toll will be a bit higher.